Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You are welcome to the final day, the final round of the Students' Career Fair 2020, organized by the Students' Finance Club, University of Benin. It is my pleasure to be with you all today. Thank you so much for the comments. If you're excited to be here, let me just see some emojis in the comment section. Let me know how excited you are. I can see some comments already. Oh, it's so nice. Thank you so much, our listeners, for sticking with us till this very moment, till the last day. It's been an honor on behalf of the Students Finance Club. I am your host for today, and my name is Jesuto Singh Oni, a student of Boeing University, also the president of the Boeing Finance Society. And once again, I welcome you all to this session. Okay, moving on, we will move on to welcome the dignitaries in our midst today. We have the panelists; they are all on seats. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation and availing yourselves to be here today for us to draw from your bank of wisdom. And also to our audience, thank you so much for being here. You as well are distinguished guests. Without wasting any much time, as I mentioned earlier, our speakers are in the house. And let me know what your expectations are for today, because our speakers are here and they also want to know what you all are looking forward to learning today. So go to the comment section, let us know what your expectations for today's sessions are. Moving on, we'll be going on to the first session for today without wasting any more time. That is the keynote session that is being led by Mr. Taiwo Oyedele. Now, if you know this speaker, you would know that to he's synonymous to tax in Africa, in Nigeria, the very best, as Grace Obanze just said. Yes, nothing truer than that. He is a giant in Africa, one of the icons that we are so proud of and we are so happy to learn from today. I'll quickly go on to read his bio. Taiwo Oyedele is the fiscal policy partner and West Africa tax leader at PwC. He is the chairman of the COVID-19 Intervention Committee for PwC West Africa and chairman PwC Nigeria Ethics Committee. He is a career and leadership coach, a mentor, an author, and a contributor to the annual Doing Business report of the World Bank. He is a prominent speaker at conferences and a regular guest on various business and economy programs on TV, radio, and online media. He is the thematic leader for the Public Finance and Taxation Policy Commission of the Nigeria Economic Summit Group, member of the ACCA Global Governing Council, chairman of the Taxation and Fiscal Policy Faculty Board of the if you're already impressed, let me see some claps in the comment section. Let me see those fire emojis because this man is phenomenal. He is on the Fiscal Policy Faculty Board of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria and a member of the Ministerial Committee on the implementation of Nigeria's national tax policy. Taiwo Oyedele is an alumnus of the London School of Economics, Yale University, and Harvard Kennedy School Executive Education. He is the founder and president of Impact Africa Foundation. With so much joy and gladness, let us welcome Mr. Taiwo Oyedele to the podium as he takes us in the keynote speech. Thank you so much, sir.
All right, so thank you very much for that introduction. I see that I cannot share my video, but I need to be able to share my screen. If the host can allow me to share my slides. Okay. Okay, so can you confirm if you're able to see my screen now?
Yes, we can, sir.
Okay. All right. So I'll get on quickly with what I have to share with you guys today, which is on human capital development in focus, how to find a place of relevance in the next phase. And I think I have about 40 to 45 minutes to talk about this, and hopefully we have some time to take a few comments or questions. So the agenda I have is to put it in a very simple way so you guys can follow and so it's practical. So the first thing is starting well, and the second one is developing yourself, and the third part is standing out. So let's start with starting well. So as students, it's important for us to, and I see someone put it in the chat box already to say what they want to learn is how can they transit easily from the classroom into the career environment. So first and foremost is to say that your education is important. And so that's what I've titled here, academic excellence. So a good first degree will help you, but you need to bear in mind that that in itself is not enough. Otherwise, there are millions of people who have the first degree you are trying to get, and many of them have two or even first class, and yet they do not have employment, and they're not able to do anything meaningful for themselves. So your good first degree is necessary, but it does not mean that that's all that you need. So learn more than theories and principles. So in finance, for example, there are a lot of theories, a lot of principles, but it's again not enough. And passing your exam should not be your primary goal. So there are people that if today someone can assure them that they will get a good grade in their exam, they probably will stop studying because they think the reason why they are in school is to get a certificate rather than to get the knowledge. So you should be more interested, your primary objective should be the knowledge. You want to understand how things work. If there's a theory, why is it like that? If there's a principle, what is the thinking behind it? And then can I find practical application of when this is being done? So that is really very important. The good thing about placing understanding and knowledge first is that passing your exams then becomes extremely very easy because the exam is only just testing your understanding. And you need to learn other skills while you're in school. So for many of us who are employers and we regularly hire graduates, we focus not only on their ability to understand what they have learned. In fact, there are many organizations where they do not think that what you've learned in terms of technical skill is anything to go about. So they then focus more on the other skills like your ability to do research. So there are so many students, when it's time for them to do their research work, as part of their coursework to graduate, they look for something to copy. So if you ever copy a research work, you're doing yourself a great disservice because you're losing out on one of the most important skills that people look out for when they're hiring young graduates. You must be able to research. You must learn about teamwork. You are there in the class, you work in groups sometimes, like this event that you guys have put together now. I'm sure there are a number of people working together to make it possible. You need to learn about being organized and effective. So there's a class that's starting by 9, you should be there before 9. You need to submit your assignment by Thursday next week. You should submit by Thursday next week. So those organizational skills and personal effectiveness are very important. Okay, so the next thing is commercial awareness. Be aware of current business challenges. So many times when we speak to young people, they're so completely disconnected with reality. So the person can tell you how to consolidate financial statements. They can calculate break-even point. They can tell you about how to do some financial analysis that they have been taught, but they really don't even know anything else beyond that. There's no employer who is happy to pay you because you know the theories and principles of how to consolidate. They are able to pay you for being able to consolidate accounts, practical realities. So if you're interested in banking, do you know what are the current challenges facing banks in Nigeria? If you're interested in capital market, do you know the issues to do with the capital markets in Nigeria, in Africa, leading capital markets in the world? What sectors are of interest to you? So you shouldn't be someone that says anything that comes my way, right? Of course, if you're starting your career and your first choice is not first for me, it's okay to take on whatever comes your way, but never lose focus of your interest, because when you follow your passion, you tend to do well. So you need to start thinking now, if you haven't thought about that, about what are your areas of interest, which sectors interest you the most. Is it fintech? Is it to do with technology? Is it to do with banking? Is it insurance? Is it manufacturing? Is it agriculture? Is it trade? Is it marketing? Is it international trade? Whatever it is, and the list is very long. Then once you have those areas in mind, I would normally recommend between 2 to 3 areas should be what you have in mind. Then what government policies are relevant to your areas of interest? So because of COVID-19, we have seen a lot of new developments, new policies coming out almost every day. Those ones will not be your syllabus, because the process for updating your syllabus is very long and very, very complicated. So when new things happen, they don't go in your syllabus. So which means you will graduate not knowing a lot of the issues that people are dealing with in the work environment, in the business space. So when you then stand in front of them for a job interview or to take a test, you will then struggle, because they're not just interested in what you learned in school, they're interested in your awareness of what they are going through, because you even need to understand what they're going through before you can make any meaningful contributions. So be aware that success in the classroom does not necessarily transfer to success in the career environment, which I've called the boardroom. So I have this, presentation I did before for one of these universities, and it was classroom versus boardroom. And one fundamental difference between the classroom and the boardroom is that in the classroom, you are rewarded for your ability to remember what you have been taught. More than 90% of what students are taught, on which they are tested, is just trying to remember what they have been taught. Sometimes those things are tweaked just a little bit and just produce it. The more you can follow structures, processes, and instructions, the more likely that you do well in school. Okay? In the boardroom, or put differently, in the career world, most of the problems that will really stand you out are not structured. Some of them, nobody has done them before. So which means you need to be able to think on your feet. You need to be able to look at problems in the face and say, I can solve them. Okay? And then not giving up and finding a solution by whatever means possible. Okay? Then the next thing I want to talk to you about starting well, is that you need to be mindful of the choices that you make. As young people, there's always peer pressure, people doing different things, and you want to just belong, you want to flow along. So that temptation is always there. But what the choices that you make? One, you need to position yourself for opportunities. So if you're always going around with people who have no ambitions, but all their ambitions are not in sync with what you want for yourself in life, chances are that you'll be led astray. So if you're interested in investment banking, if you're interested in capital markets, so even on your social media course, you should all have LinkedIn accounts. If there's anybody listening to us now who doesn't have a LinkedIn account, that's the assignment you must do today. So have a LinkedIn account. If you can also add Twitter, but LinkedIn is compulsory for anybody who's trying to build their career. So once you've done that, the next thing is to find which are the leading companies. So let's say, for example, you're interested in capital markets. Which are the leading companies operating in the capital markets? You follow them. Who are the capital market regulators? Securities and Exchange Commission, Nigerian Stock Exchange, you follow them. Who are the leading figures in the capital market space? Who are the authorities? Find them, and it's easy on Google. On LinkedIn. Just type their names, and you most likely will find their accounts. You follow them. Yes.
Sorry to cut you, sir, but we can't quite hear you so well. The audio isn't so straight. We can't really hear you.
Oh, the audio is not great.
Yes, sir. It's not so clear.
Okay. So let me see whether I can use my. So that means you didn't even hear a lot of what I was saying before.
Okay, it was a lot of touch and go, but it's a lot clearer now. Thank you, sir.
Okay, it's a lot better now, right?
Yes, it is. Thank you, sir. You can go on, sir.
Okay, all right. Sorry about that. So I was trying to say that the choices you make are important, which includes the fact that you need to position yourself to be in the right place for the opportunities that you're looking for. And one of the ways to do that is, you remember I already said to you, you should find the sectors that are of interest to you. So is it financial services? Is it insurance? Is it manufacturing? Is it fintech? Is it telecommunication? And the list goes on and on. It might even be public sector. It might be power. It might be renewable energy. Okay. And I recommended you should have about 2 to 3 that are you are most passionate about. Then the next point I've been talking about is what your choices that you make. Be mindful of them. And the first thing is to position yourself for opportunities. And the way to do that is to start by doing it virtually. And even COVID-19 now has made it even more relevant to be present online. You need to be present. And I said the first thing you have to do, if you don't already have that, is to create a LinkedIn account. Once you've created your LinkedIn account, you can just easily Google and find out who are the main players in the sectors or the areas where you are interested. Find them and follow them. Which companies are the major players? Find them and follow them. Visit their website and read what they publish from time to time. Find their annual financial statements and go through like you're writing an exam on it. Read page by page. Okay. Most times when you then find the opportunity for an interview, when you are talking to the issues that are peculiar to an organization, they feel you've done your homework, right? Because you've taken your time to go through their website, their financial statements, you've looked at their competitors. So when you're talking, you're saying, well, I looked at the top 3 players in your sector. If they are biggest, to say, I believe the reason why you're better than the rest are some of these values I saw in your financial statements. I noticed there are a few challenges to do with your assessment of risk, issues to do with compliance with regulation. I'm aware of some of these regulations issued by your regulatory bodies, and I believe I'm conversant enough that if I have the opportunity, I'll help you with some of these things. So when you highlight those real issues, there's no employer that will not be happy for you to join them. Focus on your own goals, not what other people are doing. So I have seen a lot of young people with very bright career prospects ahead of them, but unfortunately they make wrong decisions because they allow peer pressure to force them into doing something else just because everybody is doing it. So sometimes it might be the pressure of, after graduating from school, a few months after that, you see some of your classmates will come with, they bought a car, So, but the point is, buying a car is one of the easiest things, if you focus on your goals. So the investment you should make in yourself at the earlier stage is developing yourself, not those things you brag about or the things you use for show off. The most expensive iPhone, latest version, that's not necessary. Okay, then your long-term matters. When you're trying to make choices, if you struggle a little bit, I'll recommend that you consider this rule. It's called 10-10-10 rule by Susie Welsh. And what she said in her book, a very nice book, is that when you're making a decision, ask yourself what would be the implication of this decision in the next 10 minutes. And then ask yourself, will this decision still be important in the next 10 months? And finally, would it matter in 10 years? So her point is that many people make decisions because they live in the present and they're focused on what will matter in 10 minutes. So when you enter the room and you have the most sophisticated mobile phone, that's important for only 10 minutes. When you leave the room, maybe one or two people will remember from that day or two, but in the next 5 months, in fact, your phone will no longer be the latest, right? And even if it matters in 10 minutes, would it matter in 10 months? Would it matter in 10 years? When you're trying to make career decisions, focus more on what will matter in 10 years, not in 10 minutes, not in 10 months. And finally, about starting well is develop a solution mindset. If you start by identifying problems. So Nigeria have 1,000,001 problems, okay? There are by far more problems in Nigeria than there are in the US or in the UK or in Germany. What that also means is there are more opportunities in Nigeria than anywhere else, almost anywhere else in the world, to produce solutions, because solutions are the answers to problems. The more problems there are, the more the opportunities for you to provide solutions. Then if there are solutions already, okay, you should then think about how can I provide this solution better? How can I do it faster? So if I walk to a bank today and I want to be attended to right in the banking hall, so you go to some banks and you spend up to 15 minutes, you still get attended to. You go to another bank, you spend 5 minutes. The difference between them is one bank has spent time to look at the entire value chain of attending to customers, and they've cut it down effectively to reduce the time, because they know time translates to value and value translates to money. So if I constantly come to your banking hall and I have to spend 15 to 20 minutes, then I'll stop coming. I'll find a way to move my money to another bank where they think about me as a king. So if you see problems, think about solutions. If there are already solutions, think about how to make those solutions better. And don't wait until you identify a big problem like Steve Jobs with iPhone and iPad. We're not talking about those groundbreaking solutions. If you can find them, all well and good. But just think about it on a day-to-day basis. When you get back to, if you get back home today, if you're in hostel, you go to your hostel. In fact, on your way home, right, if you are outside, you find that even just getting into a bus, just start thinking about it. What can these bus people do better? There's the conductor, there's the driver, there's how they call passengers, there's how people see, there's how they collect money, there's how they give them change. So just start thinking. When you get your mind to start thinking about solution, then you develop an important skill to get you started in life. So the second part of my presentation is developing yourself. Okay, so it's good to start well, but you can't be complacent. It cannot end there. So some of us graduated from school, 20 years ago, 21 years ago. So I graduated 21 years ago. So even if I was the best student in the whole world 21 years ago, and I did nothing since then, in fact, what I'm even talking about since then, maybe for 2 years. If I did nothing for 2 years, I'll probably be one of the dumbest in the world. So this says that it's good to start well, but it's even more important to constantly develop yourself. And what I want to use to speak to this was a study conducted by LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is clearly the biggest platform for professionals in the world, and it has a lot of employers and policymakers on their platforms. So they conducted a study using the data available on LinkedIn last year, which meant that, in fact, this work they did covered over 660 million professionals on LinkedIn and covered more than 20 million jobs that were advertised and recruited on LinkedIn last year, over 20 million jobs. And from their using the data they collected, they analyzed the skills that are most in demand. What were the skills that people were asking for the most? And they came up with the top 5 soft skills and top 10 hard skills. So here are the top 5 soft skills. Number 1 is creativity. What does that really mean? It means connecting the dots that are seemingly unrelated. So many people just think in a very narrow direction. They cannot put things together. So if the price of bread has increased from 100 naira to 120 naira, there's so many people who can't think beyond. They say, yeah, it's inflation, or they say it's Buhari. They just find one simple solution or the answer that they have in their brain and they move on. Okay, whereas another person will say, it's because the inputs must have increased. Okay, what are the inputs that go into bread? They start thinking about it. Okay, you have flour, you have sugar, you have oil, you have fat, you have yeast, you have everything. By the time you finish listing them, say, okay, why is the price going up? Say, because some of these products inputs are being imported. Okay, if they are being imported, why is it that it has gone up? Because Naira has devalued. Why did Naira devalue? Do we have to import these things? Where are we importing them from? They will Google the countries where we're importing them from. If you want to produce them, what do you need to produce them? Before you know it, this person is starting their own business because they have thought about the starting point was the price of bread has gone up. But you then find out that there are a lot of issues underlying that simple increase in the price of bread that present a lot of opportunities. Number 2 is persuasion, and that is your ability to convince others to buy into your ideas. When you start your career, what you can do by yourself, for yourself, is important. But as you go up in your career, what will be more important is what you can get others to do along with you. The same thing with if you have a business or even if you are an employee, your ability to sell your ideas to other people is critical, and that is persuasion. Number 3 is collaboration. Okay, this is your ability to work effectively and efficiently with other people to achieve a common goal. It's also your ability to influence others to be able to get to the right end point that you have in mind. Okay, so persuasion is selling your ideas. Collaboration is working effectively with other people. Adaptability, put differently, I'll say, is agility, right? It is the way you thrive in a dynamic environment because things are moving so quickly, particularly now in this era of COVID-19. It's your ability to adapt and move from one situation quickly to another. So there were people, for example, who run restaurants. And when COVID came and there was lockdown, and they said nobody should go out and all of that, they quickly adapted by doing home delivery. Some of them quickly created social media accounts, websites, and they did payment platform and they advertised. Okay, so they then said to their customers, you don't even need to come, we'll bring the food to your doorstep. My wife even wanted to order food from one of those things, and she saw it on Instagram. I wanted to order food. When she called, they said we have to wait 4 days because they were booked to capacity for the next 4 days. And these are guys who were delivering about 50 meals a day. One meal is not small portion, so it's big. one delivery is around 30,000. So I just imagine this is a young lady who is delivering about 50 orders a day, each of them about 30,000, and she's fully booked for the next 4 days. Whereas some people are still complaining and blaming government and China and coronavirus and cursing the devil and the enemy when other people already adapted and they are moving on. Okay. So there's emotional intelligence, which is your ability to perceive, evaluate, and respond to your own emotions as well as the emotions of the other people. Can you feel what other people feel? Do you empathize with them? And sometimes without emotional intelligence, you're never going to get along with your contemporaries, and you will not be able to get along with customers. Now let's move on to the hard skills. The top 10 hard skills, number one is blockchain. So blockchain is the technology behind cryptocurrency. I know many of you know cryptocurrency, but cryptocurrency is just one small aspect of blockchain. So it's used for a lot more than that, particularly in terms of financial services, digital assets, and it's used also across disciplines, from accounting to technology to banking to finance, and so on and so forth. Then number two is cloud computing. So cloud computing is essentially to say, in those days, right? You when you want to embrace technology, you buy your own server and you put the server in your office. You then have to provide AC, cooling facility. Then you provide another backup server in case something goes wrong or there's fire in your premises. Everything was physical in one location. In those days, once you leave the office, you can't even read your email until you get back and log into the system. You can't even view your accounting system. You can't print out your ledger. If you go for a meeting in Ghana or the US and you're talking to a potential customer and they say, well, we'd like to have a look at your ledgers for account payable. If you do not print it along with you, you are done. You say, I'm sorry, it's at home. So, but the world has moved on since then. So things are now in the cloud. If you open your email today and somebody sends you an attachment, when you open your email is actually communicating with a server.
Okay. It seems that network has interrupted Mr. Oyedele's presentation. He should be joining in soon. Okay, he's back in. While he's connecting back, I hope we're jotting
Hello?
things down. Yes, sir, we can
Hello?
hear you.
Oh, sorry, I think I lost you temporarily,
Yeah,
right?
you did. Yes, sir.
Okay. Where was that?
You were speaking about the top 10 hard skills, cloud computing.
Okay, all right. I'll just continue from there. So sorry about that.
Okay, sir.
So cloud computing now means that things are in the cloud and people can access them remotely, and you need to have that skill to be able to compete. And then the next one is analytical reasoning. So analytical reasoning is your ability to be able to take data and translate it into information. and to be able to connect the dots is ordinary. So some people just look at data
Okay, it seems Mr. Taiwo's network is going on and off. We're sorry about this, but the downside to being virtual, it gives us comfort from our rooms, from our tables, but then it also gives room for network disruption. While we are waiting for him to connect back, like I said earlier, I hope we are jotting things down and getting prepared for the Q&A section after his talk. We will be granting him, we'll be asking him questions, a few questions. So if you do want to have your question asked, I advise that you send in your question as soon as possible, as to be on a first come, first served basis. Oh, your book is full already. Interesting. In the meantime, can we begin to see one or two lessons that we've picked up in the chat box? Just send one or two things in the chat box. Let's see what you've picked up. I'm pretty sure our jotting pads are filled up. If they are not filled up yet, you may want to jot one or two things when people begin to drop in their lessons. So if you've learned anything so far, let's see them in the chat box. Let's know that we're all here together and listening attentively. While that is coming in, just to remind us that we still have a great lineup coming on later in the day. We have a panel session moderated by Mr. Andrew, the founder of Growbit Further Africa. And the panel discussion will be on skill lacuna. Is the education system doing enough? I'm pretty sure a lot of us are interested or will be interested in this discussion, being that a lot of us have lost faith in our educational system. So after this session, I would like to encourage us to still stick behind. Okay, Mr. Taiwo is back on.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can, sir.
Okay, so sorry about that. So I've just switched now to another network provider. So hopefully this will be better.
All right, thank you, sir. So you can also share your screen. We can't see your screen yet.
Okay.
Thank you.
One moment. Can you see it now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So we were on, I believe, was analytical reasoning.
Yes.
Artificial intelligence was about how people now make technology to almost do what human beings will do by thinking like human beings. So, for example, if you want to enter a meeting in your calendar so you don't forget, and you say the meeting will start by 11 a.m. and it will finish by 10 a.m. The system will tell you that you cannot finish something before you start it, right? Because 11 a.m. comes before, 10 a.m. comes before 11. That's artificial intelligence. So stuff like that is in demand. This is user experience design, UX design, and this doesn't have to be technology related. It's just about your thinking about user experience, or if you like, customer experience. So you think about everything you do, and some of us have opportunities to learn, but we just don't pay attention to it. You have your parents, your mom, your dad, your uncle, your auntie, who has a small business. And you should start thinking about, you be with them and start thinking about how can they improve, the way they place orders for what they buy, the suppliers management, how do they manage their customers? Are they even collecting data? So many of them don't collect data because they don't know data is important. Is it a particular time of the day that people buy more from them? Is there an age group that mostly buy from them? Are they mostly elderly people? Are they women? Are they kids? Then even to do with their accounting records. So you guys are in finance, so which means you have some, theoretical knowledge. Translate into practical knowledge by trying to do accounts for them. Then business analysis also is very useful. And this is scanning the environment and trying to understand what the issues are. How are things connected generally? So with COVID-19, one of the biggest challenges people are facing is supply chain disruption. And then there's affiliate marketing. So this is your ability to be able to sell really and to be able to promote what you're doing without telling a lie. And sales itself is promoting your products and services. And then there's scientific computing, which is a little bit more complex. And so this is how we use complex computing to solve complex problems. And then number 10 is video production. So video production is becoming more relevant because the world is going more virtual. So can you put your product into a video of 2-3 minutes that people can play on and get the gist of what you do, how to reach out to you, where to find your product, maybe testimonies from some happy customers, so, and there's a lot of learning that you can get for free on a lot of platforms. So you need to learn how to do video editing. So those things are very important skills. Now, this picture that you see now in the middle is something I call very unfortunate, but it's important information to share with you guys. So the National Bureau of Statistics released the latest labor market report about 3 weeks ago, or maybe even 2 weeks ago, and which shows that unemployment rate in Nigeria has increased significantly. Unemployment plus underemployment in Nigeria is now close to 55%. But what is even more worrying for me is the demography of unemployment rates. So if you see from this screen, it may not be very clear to you, but you get copies of my slides later on. So the people who suffer unemployment the most are the people who have qualification below primary school. Okay, so below primary school, so these are almost like people who did not even finish primary school. The next to that are people with degree, okay, BA, BSc, BEd, and HND. So people who are educated are the most employed, the second most unemployed. And the reason is not because their skills are less than the other people. It is because many of them have the wrong mindset of they just want to get the top job in a bank from day one, in an oil company. So they are not open to other opportunities. Okay, so that in itself is a major challenge. So I think someone said the audio is not very clear. Can you confirm whether the audio is clear or not?
I think it's from his end because I can hear you clearly. So yes, confirmation in the chat box.
So I'll just continue. Let me continue. Hopefully you can still pick some of what I'm saying. So this data in the middle shows that many graduates are unemployed, second highest rate of unemployment, simply because many of them they go to school and they come out with the wrong mindset that they're supposed to next day find a job in Shell, in Zenith Bank, in ExxonMobil, in PwC, and they are limited by their mindset. They're not even thinking about other opportunities. There are lots of companies that give international exposure and experience and that you don't even know about. So many graduates cannot even list up to 50 companies in Nigeria, whereas there are more than 2,000 of them that provide good career opportunities. So just being aware and being open. And many of them don't want to take on jobs that they consider to be menial jobs. So they think that, oh, this is below my level. I saw something on LinkedIn a few days ago of a graduate. These graduates, actually was someone who couldn't find a good job, and he took up the job of a gatekeeper, security, man in a bank. And when it was time for them to write an exam for graduates, he went to the bank manager and said, by the way, I'm a graduate, if you allow me. So they allowed the guy to participate, and he was the best person. So while he was there doing his gateman job, he was learning and developing himself. So what that means is you should be open to starting small if necessary. Okay, I think the sharing is not showing again. Let's see. All right, so the next thing or the last thing I want to discuss is how can you stand out? So that is standing out, especially from the crowd, because it's crowded out there. So the first thing about that is how do you make yourself stand out? And the first point here that I have is what I call demonstrated capability. So essentially what this means is your ability to not only tell us what you can do, but to be able to show us. So if you send out a message to someone you think is your potential employer, and you tell them that you are passionate, you're hardworking, you can work under pressure, all those things mean nothing, absolutely nothing. If you say that you have been able to, have the opportunity to support your uncle's business, and you identify that there were issues to do with how they keep their record, and you started first by helping them to do it on Excel. At some point, you're able to get them an accounting software. Now you are tracking their, progress. Because of that, they've been able to apply for a loan, and they were eligible for a loan. They will use that to be able to scale up from one branch. They now have 4 branches. By the time you tell your story, the person will be thinking, this guy with his very limited opportunity is thinking about business like a business person. Then they're willing to employ you to allow you work in a large organization. So always look for the opportunity to apply your knowledge so you can do what I call demonstrated capability. The number 2 is applied curiosity. So you should always be curious. Why is it like this? Why do we have 5 processes? Why can it not be 1? Is it possible that we can do something to simplify this process? So all those kind of issues, I think you should be thinking about so that you can have what I call demonstrated capability. The next one is that ethics matter. Ethics is really about doing the right thing, regardless of who else is doing the wrong thing. So you have to be willing to do the right thing at all times. Whatever accomplishments you have that is not based on ethics is a success on borrowed time. So it's a matter of time, the success will come crashing down. So ethics matter. Number 4 is you need to build your brand. So even though you're an individual, but you have to start thinking about yourself as a brand. So what that means is you have to be deliberate about, for example, your email account. So you shouldn't give somebody your email address and it's some very funny names. It could be sexy xyz at gmail. So you can't send that. That doesn't even present you as a professional. Hot guy at something. So you need to find a way to, what I always recommend is use your full name, right? So your first name, dash your last name, and you can now put a year. If that is not available, you can say 2020 or 85 or something. So think about yourself as a brand online. Make sure that you have good profile. So you shouldn't go on LinkedIn or even on other platforms and your image is the image of a dog. So it's not good. So have a professional photo and put it there. So don't go on LinkedIn and put a picture of you being half naked. Okay, so you may get some people to follow you, but you not get any serious person to follow you or take you seriously. Then if you can create content right from time to time and share your thoughts. At your early stage, you find it will be mostly people at your level that will be following what you're doing. But over time, you get more professionals to also follow what you're doing. So number 5 is for you to focus on value, not task. So many people focus too much on tasks. And one of the things I've read that I get inspired by was when John F. Kennedy went to NASA and then saw the janitor and asked the guy, "What do you do?" And the guy said, "We are helping to send people to the moon." So many janitors will say, "It's my job to make sure that I open the door and close the door in the evening and all of that." But this person sees their role beyond the task. They see the value they are adding. So don't say you are the one who is the cashier counting money. You can say you are the one who makes sure that when customers need their money, they can get it. And therefore, your focus is on how the experience of how they get their money. Do you make them frustrated when they come to your banking hall? And then there's continuous improvement, which means that whatever you do, always improve. For my staff who work with me in the office, I tell them my benchmark is 6 months. If you do something the same way every day or regularly for more than 6 months, you are failing. You should be able to think of a better way of doing something within a period of 6 months so that it's better than you met it. Okay. I see that this connection is still a challenge, but in closing, I have this quote from William Barclay, which is that there are 2 great days in a person's life: the day we are born and the day we discover why. So for you to really stand out, you must find your purpose. Finding your purpose is not something you sit down and just write it out in a day. You have to then pay attention to yourself. What are the areas where you always feel like naturally you excel more than other people? What is it that you do almost with ease? People are struggling, but for you, it's bread and butter. So those passions would also help you to start paying attention to what is available out there. And as much as possible, make sure that you are following what's happening in the business space. Listen to the news, read newspapers, read them online, listen to opinion leaders, industry leaders, and just try as much as possible to be the best that you possibly can be. So apologies with the connection today. I know it was a little bit difficult, but hopefully you're able to pick 1 or 2 things from what I've shared. So I'll send the slides to the organizers and they can share with you guys. So thank you very much.
Wow. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Then let's begin to see the virtual claps in the chat box and the fire emojis. Thank you so much, sir. This is definitely a lot of value added. I was having a conversation with someone yesterday, and I mentioned that Taiwo Oyedele was going to be in this session. And he said, wow, that man is intelligent. And I think we can all attest to the fact that truly he is intelligent. And it is such an honor to learn from you today, sir. Thank you so much. Without wasting any more time, we'll move into the Q&A session quickly. So I would like to request that you turn on your video while you're answering questions so that at least we could see your face before you take your leave. Thank you, sir. He said a lot in his presentation. I don't even know which one to speak to, but I think the one thing that he said that I think wraps everything up is it's good to start well, but do not be complacent and end there. So in whatever you're doing, strive for excellence, strive for be diligent, and make sure that you stay relevant. So we'll quickly go to the questions and answer. This question is from Ayomide Akindele. And he says, Mr. Oyedele, what would you advise for students with a non-finance background looking to build a career in finance?
Yeah, so I think this question is relevant to any career for that matter. So if you don't have a background in finance and you want to build a career in finance, or you don't have a background in technology, but you want to build a career in technology, it could be anything else. The best thing to do, first and foremost, is to try and establish your interests beyond just, I wish. You have to take active interest in developing yourself. So find out the sector players, okay? So in finance, for example, is it banking? Is it insurance? Is it investment banking? Is it asset management? Is it capital market? Is it stockbroking? So narrow down to the areas, and there might be 2 or 3 or 4. Then go to the website of those companies. Think about the people who are the leaders. If somebody wants to speak on channels today, they want to speak on CNBC Africa, who are the people they will normally invite to speak about finance-related matters? Find them on social media, on LinkedIn, and follow them. If they have written a book, read the books that they have read. Go to the website of the companies. If they have published an analysis, read the analysis. So a company like AfriInvest does a lot of very nice publication. The same thing with FSGH. So take those publications and start reading them. Okay? So that is how you start developing your interest in a sector. And to be honest, we find that it's even better to find someone with a neutral background moving into a particular. So some of our best, staff in PwC studied engineering. They did not even study accounting, but they came into accounting and they had an open mind and they learned, and they're doing it better than the accountants themselves. So that is where I would encourage you if you are interested in any career.
All right, thank you so much, sir. The next question is from Ayomide Egbeyemi. What is the least number of hard skills one must possess? The best 3, sir.
I don't think there is like a list. You don't want to be everywhere because you can't be a jack of all trades. You may just even possess one hard skill. So soft skill is you cannot limit yourself to one. Soft skills, you have as many as possible. Emotional intelligence, teamwork, creative thinking. You have as many as possible. But for the hard skills, identify where you want to play. Don't just do everything. So sometimes I see people who have professional qualification and it's like 2 paragraphs. So when I even see you having so many professional qualifications, it's an indication that you're confused in my view. Once you identify the area you want to play, go ahead and develop your skills in that. My recommendation would be about 2 to 3. So today, for example, my primary area of interest is tax. But beyond tax, I'm interested in fiscal policies related to tax. Then I do leadership, and then I do stuff to do with governance. So you don't want to be everywhere. But as a young people starting your career, sometimes it's better to have, your options are more open, particularly if you are not very, very sure of your passion yet, of what you want to pursue in life. I would say keep an open mind, and then you can have as many of those skills as possible.
Okay, thank you, sir. The next question is from Ibrahim Suleiman. He says, you're an industry leading professional and well known all across. What would you say were the key building blocks for the reputable status that you have today?
Okay, so thank you for that question. I think, the first thing is to always start by saying, I want to be better every day than the person I was the previous day. So that's really important. So you never become complacent or go and relax because, if you're in a place and you're the best. So, there's this story of a teenager I read who ended up with about 39% in a subject and went home, and the dad said, why would you score 39%? The guy said, but I took first, So the point wasn't that you took first. The point was that you didn't understand the subject. Other people were worse than you. Doesn't make you good. So you have to be better than yourself every day. The other thing is hard work. So I'll say wherever you find yourself, if you want to work in a bank, you want to work in a professional service firm or international multinational organization, and you haven't found it, and you find one small shop that is owned by one man, and you are not very happy. To the extent you're going to be there for 1 minute, give it your 100%. So whatever you do, give it your 100%. So it's very important. Then always look for how to improve things. So if you are, I've worked in a number of, small places before I joined PwC. So my approach, even as a young person, was how can I make things better? So if you are the person who is always improving what you do, people will notice you, even if you are not being appreciated immediately. Some people may even see you as a threat. But ultimately, that would announce you, and the people who recognize and value you will give you the opportunity that you truly deserve.
Thank you so much, sir. I hope we are truly listening and taking down these important points. Because of time, we'll be taking the last two questions now. From Destiny Evans, does having a master's degree give you a greater chance of getting a good job in a finance firm? And from Ayatunde Abiodun, what were the things you wish you did as an undergraduate, sir?
Yeah, so having a master's degree, so I'm not really a promoter of people taking, going for more degrees. I think that, if you have a first degree and you have practical knowledge, even when you haven't worked, and I'm saying that you can gain practical knowledge by just applying yourself wherever you are and by following the business news and development around the world. So as we speak now, there's a BOFID law, Banks and Other Financial Institution Bill at the National Assembly. Imagine that as a student, you have read it. You read it and you compare with the old BOFID, and you say, well, I can BOFIA because it's now an act, no longer a decree. And you can easily talk about the top 10 changes that they are introducing. So Kama has been out there, churches took over the conversation and NGOs, but there are, 1,001 other provisions there. So do you even understand what Kama is talking about regarding ease of doing business? So the understanding of practical issues that businesses are facing are by far more important than getting a master's degree. So I'll say the energy and time you put into a master's degree, put it into gaining practical knowledge. If you use that time to go and learn Power BI, to do data analytics, so you find that is more useful at your level. Personally, when I'm trying to hire people and they have their masters, when they haven't worked, I discount it like they had nothing. So when you go for your master's immediately after your first degree, it's a waste of your time, a waste of your money. If you must go for your master's, ensure that it's after you have, my recommendation, at least 3 to 5 years of work experience. You also don't want to get to your master's class and you don't have anything to share. So one of the biggest values you get from a master's degree is the network. You meet people who have worked, they are connected with them. So overall, place your practical knowledge of what's going on ahead of masters. In fact, I also place professional qualification ahead of masters if you must go that way. I think the other thing you then asked was, what do I wish I had done differently? And a lot of
As
young
an
people have asked,
undergraduate, yes, sir.
yes, so a lot of young people have asked me this before. So maybe I'm one of the very few people who will say they're very lucky to have taken the right steps. I don't know whether it's just God or whether it's because it's not like I had a mentor like today when you guys have opportunities or people who can mentor you. So a lot of things I did, I look back and I wish I still think that they were the right thing. I think maybe the only few areas where I thought I could have done differently was my focus was too much on accounting. So I was bent on, in fact, I lost like 1 or 2 years because I wanted accounting and I was not getting accounting. That's not because I really wanted to be an accountant. It was because an uncle said to me that accounting was good. So in my secondary school, I did sciences. Uh, I did well. So in fact, the sciences was because the principal put me in the science class because I was the best student in my village secondary school, not because I didn't even know what I wanted to do. The principal just said, you are the best student, you have to be in sciences. I did sciences, but I didn't like it. My mom said, I want to be a doctor. I said, no doctor inspires me. So this uncle said accounting is good. I then wanted to do accounting. I was not getting up to the cutoff mark for accounting because I had not studied accounting in secondary school. So when I eventually got accounting, I later realized that it was pointed. I could have done anything else and still be one of the best accountants in Nigeria. So maybe that's the only thing. If I look back, I wish I had, had someone to mentor me at the time. Today, like I said at PwC, our best people in finance, in accounting, in strategy, even in tax, not necessarily people who studied accounting. Nothing is wrong with accounting. The problem sometimes is they then come with the mindset like they already know. So they are not paying attention. The person who studied engineering is listening with their 2 ears to everything you are saying. So they then get the opportunity to learn the right things, do the right thing, and then ultimately leapfrog other people who may have studied accounting.
Thank you so much, sir. I don't think we can say that enough. It has been a pleasure and an opportunity to listen to you. If you're around the first day of this webinar, you agree with me that all our speakers are in alignment. He spoke about purpose and he also spoke about being a problem solver, which our panelists also spoke on about on the first day of this program. So thank you so much, sir. We appreciate you taking out your time to speak to us and for dishing us with words of wisdom. Before you take your leave, sir, is there any other thing you would like to say, maybe parting words that you would like to give?
Yeah, I think it's just for everybody on the call to bear in mind that at the end of the day, they can say there is unemployment, they can say the economy is hard, but I can tell you authoritatively from where I see it that there are opportunities opening up every single day. So most time we even struggle to find people to hire because the opportunities are there. The problem is that people don't step up to build themselves to a point where they are fit for those opportunities. And those are some of the tips I've been sharing with you guys today. So these are practical things that I see every time. So what you need to do is, just ignore all the noise about the economy is not working, there's no jobs, life is coming to an end. Life is not coming to an end. So just focus on yourself, focus on, what's relevant, build yourself every single day, and you'll be amazed at how much career prospect is ahead of you. So if you do this diligently, you'll be glad that you did. So I wish you all the best and do enjoy the rest of your conference.
Thank you so much, sir. As he takes his leave, let's see the clapping emojis in the chat box and your words of appreciation as he goes today. Thank you so much, sir. And we wish you a wonderful weekend ahead. Thank you, sir.
Yes, bye-bye.
Bye, sir. Wow, you would agree with me that that was a limit breaking session, limit breaking in terms of how we think and how we reason. Thank you so much once again, Mr. Taiwo Oyedele. We'll be taking a quick break just to offload and think back on this powerful session. And then we do come back, we'll be having a special appearance from a special inhuman being. If you'd like to know who that person is, stick with us and we'll see you very soon. Thank you. All right, all right, all right. I hope we're still here. If you're still here with me, let me see an emoji in the chat box. Let's know you're still here and connected and you could hear very clearly. We have our special guest in the house and he's ready to dish us with his presentation. We have Plicool in the house and he's here to dish us with some spoken words. We'll be giving the stage to Mr. Plicool now to go ahead. You're welcome.
Right. Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Can we hear me? If you can hear me, can I see some emojis in the chat box? Can I see a peace sign? All right. Are we good? All right. All right. Cool. Nice. All right. I'm excited to be here. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to the organizers of this career fair this year. I'm excited to be here, and I really want to say thank you. It means a lot, and I'm glad. I'm glad that we could do this. All right. So I wouldn't want to boss today. I wouldn't want to waste so much time. Quickly, before I do my spoken word piece, I'd like us to know that the next generation, would not be educated institutionally. The next generation will be validated by how much content they put out. You know, content is the currency of the now. Content drives everything. You know, while we look at how things run, you know, back in the days, we have to understand that when a trend changes or when the tide changes, we have to go with that. You know, so whatever sphere we are in, whatever part of the world we are in, we have to understand that we have to put out content. If you're in finance, if you're in HR, if you are in business, in marketing, whatever you are in, you have to put out content. Can you guys hear me now? Some people are saying they can hear me clearly.
Actually, we can't hear you. There's sort of an interference. It's not so clear.
You hear me clear now?
Okay, yes, it's clear now. Thank you.
Is this better? Is this better? If it is, let me see if it signs in the comment section. Okay. All right. So I can continue, right? If this is good, okay.
Okay, we advise you could you could go without the earpiece. I think the earpiece is causing an interference.
Yeah, I'm taking it out. Can you hear me now? All right. Is this clear enough?
Could you speak one more
Is this
time?
clear? Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, this is better. Yes, thank you.
All right. Okay. So if this is better, I would continue. I was saying that the next generation would not be judged by institutions. They'll be validated by the content they put out. So whatever sphere you are in, you have to find a community. You have to find a gap of people who want to learn from you because you are a teacher. You know, it's not just to know what you know, but to share what you know, right? And this is the turning point for us as young people, as career people, to understand that whatever sphere you are in, through media, even through HR, through finance, through business, you have to put out content. That is how people see you and people want to work with you. So that basically is what I like to say. And lastly, one thing that people ask is, how do I reach more people? How do I get to more people? How can I get more audience? You get more audience by sharing. You share, and share. That is how to reach more people, because people don't care how much you know until they know how. All right. Today's sound, we're having issues issues. Okay, I guess. All right. How is this? Is this better? Is this better?
Yes, yes, it is. Hopefully, it doesn't go off again.
All right. So I like to do a piece called charger. Charger when you charge your phone. All right. So my thoughts were here and there. I was trying to understand light by effect restricted by her cage, and an iron does not let me explore. And so it suddenly dawned on me that we're not doing what we know is important to do. You know, we lack the force net for us to change the world around us. And that there could be a loss because we know what to do, but we pause, thinking that it cannot happen, or thinking that it can happen, but cannot come from us. That there is a curse. You see, that pain is there. That pain comes when we know we have to do something, but we do not. Feeling like there is no thing available to effect the change, and so we do nothing. When we're supposed to affect people's lives, we're busy looking for who they rush us. We're to create some valuable change in our spheres, but we settle for mediocre and are impatient enough for our rice to dawn. We don't have rice on our plates anymore. We now only lick stew. What is stew, nation? Everything is incredibly peppery. The sun, peppery. The moon, peppery. Your house, peppery. You see, Africa is hot like we burnt the ozone since 1663. But the power to effect the change is indigenous. But we're so relaxed that there's increasing world problems. No wonder in mathematics we're asked to solve world problems because the world is in trouble and a savior is needed. See, if we could decide to do a little saving, the whole world would be a better place to live in. Not to talk of if I do the same too, you know, that man across the road, the woman that sells in Selu, those people in Lagos, the children in Cameroon, those in America, China, England. So you see, the whole world will be saved when everyone's a savior, right? Now that's a lie. That would be hard when you know you could be a savior but decide to be a slave to the world. You see, the power to effect the change is here. But to do so, you must understand that you do not need fear because it will discharge you and make you weaker, like a phone without its charger. The taking charge is not so hard. It's you looking at that man that has an ineffective life and sorting out ways to make it revived and actually making it revived, not just having it in mind, but working towards it and making it defined. So taking charge is you being passionate about the people around you. And from there, you could affect the whole world. But if not that, the little world around you. Now, taking charge should be about you expanding your reach. So I guess it should be the whole world. Now, that would be you bringing the whole world around you. And by that, the contract would have no breach. Also, taking charge is very practical. It is you setting and scoring goals. In your career and sphere, actually score own goals. I mean, they are your own goals. It's what will gear others up. Bro, sis. By that, the contract would have no breach. You know, the contract is between you and the one who gives one the power to charge up the world. He's the ruler of everything. He's God. In the contract, he would say, subdue, dominate, and replenish the earth. He has given you the power to lead these earthlings. And so in the contract, he would say, take charge. Tell them what to do. And by that, you will be achieving a purpose. I hope you know the world is not bad because they're bad people. Yes, the world is not bad because they're bad people. The world is bad because good people do nothing. And we're ambassadors, Republicans to the colonies of heaven, and we've been given the barge. So here on earth, we could take charge. Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Wow. Thank you so much. On behalf of all the attendees, I'll be clapping from here, but still sending your virtual clap. Despite the network, it was still really brilliant and amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your gifts with us.
Yes. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Right. So guys, this is still SFC, the Student Career Fair. Thank you so much for sticking with us till now. Before we move into the which will be the last part of this webinar today, and in general, we'll be taking another quick break. Please do not leave, just stay on the line. We won't be gone for too long. Get a new set of sheets to write on, because I tell you, this panel that's about to come on will dish us hot back to back. They're not sparing anything. So come back with your fresh notes, ready to learn and listen. Thank you.
saw some people asking for my handle on social media. So just for the link, it's Plicool, Plicool, Plicool. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you so much, Plicool, once again. And to our lovely audience, thank you so much for sticking with us till now. Um, we're moving straight to the panel session. Again, please get your notepads ready. Make sure you're listening diligently. And do not forget to send your questions to the Q&A section so that the panelists can attend to your questions very well. So I'll be handing over now to the moderator of the panel session, Mr. Andrew. Thank you so much for being here today. We appreciate your presence.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So you have the floor now. Thank you.
Hello. Okay, thank you very much. That was a powerful session from from the last session we just had from Mr. Taiwo Oyedele. That was powerful, and it's quite revealing that we have unemployment and underemployment that is for people who are degree holders or master degree holders. It's very shocking to see that the numbers have increased to 55%. That's a lot. That's a lot. And it's funny that the number one reason that he mentioned was a wrong mindset. And we would have thought that there are no jobs out there, but it's just because people have refused to leverage the opportunities that are bound. And today we are going to have an exciting time having rich conversations with some of the great minds that we know. We're going to have conversations around skill lacuna. Yeah, my name is Andrew Igbinoeka. And I'm the founder of Go A Bit Further Africa, where we are providing affordable mentorship and relevant skills to strategically position university students for success in the workspace. And I'm really excited to be having this conversation because this conversation is very much dear to me. It's very much dear to me, the skill gap that most of us are not very much aware of. And today, the panelists are going to do well to share their experiences as well as all that they have learned about the workspace. And we're also going to be touching on whether or not the education system is doing enough to position you for the success that you deserve. So quickly, I'm just going to make welcome. I'll read through the bios of the facilitators, the panelists that we're having for this session. I'll read through their bios. I'll try as much as possible to be brief, to summarize the bios because they're a bit very long. Okay. So that's my bio, but then we're going to proceed to read. So we'll start with Mr. Osama Ose Iyawe. Is a business and financial intelligence strategist. Is a dynamic, multifaceted young man who measures as a kingdom influencer, a thought leader as well. He holds strong experiences across country borders and armed with a doctorate degree in finance, an alumnus of Middlesex University Business School, London. In addition to possessing a CPA, he is a consultant to several organizations in financial intelligence, startup activation, enterprise strategy, and human capacity development. He is an author, a public speaker, and youth advocate. He also readily facilitates on leadership, business intelligence, and inventive branding. Guys, this is so much. And he is someone I know, he's someone that I have worked with on different platforms. And he's such an amazing voice. He's a recipient of several local and international awards. Dr. Osama, in brief, represents a ready, transformational, positive change catalyst anytime, anywhere. Guys, put your hands together for our first panelist, Osama Ose Yahweh. So I'm going to read the next bio. The next bio is Onyi Kansola Adeye. I hope I pronounced that name well. Onyi Kansola Adeye. She is a human resource professional with 6 years, over 6 years, quality experience spanning different areas of human resources, such as talent acquisition, employee engagement, employee relations, employee development, and compensation. She has professional experience in handling end-to-end recruitment for different types of junior to senior level roles, cutting across different fields, including information technology, finance, sales, and operations. She is keen on enabling optimal conditions for people to do great work and believes there is always room to achieve, learn more, innovate, and give a better best, right? So we know that there is a better best, right? So guys, put your hands together for our second panelist. She's an HR advisor at InterSwitch Group. The next facilitator is Precious. Precious Imuwahe Ajonu. She's head youth engagement and learning at Joberman, Nigeria. So Precious Imuwahe Ajonu is head youth engagement and learning at Joberman, Nigeria. She leads the implementation efforts of a dynamic team whose vision is to upskill 5 million young people and place 3 million of them in dignified work in 5 years. Guys, that's awesome. Precious specializes in helping people and organizations improve their soft skills, change management processes, and manage their diversity and inclusion programs. She is comfortable at all levels of a business, having worked as a manager and consultant for more than 12 years. She has developed and demonstrated superior stakeholder management and communication skills at the operational, executive, and board level. So, guys, this is so much. This is so much. This is so much. You can read through the slides and you'll get to learn more about our facilitators. So, awesome, right? Awesome. So the conversation we are having today is skill lacuna. And then what that actually means is that there is a gap that needs to be filled, right? So we are going to be asking our panelists now, do we think that the education system in Nigeria as of now, is doing enough to prepare these students, to prepare us for the workspace, to prepare us for the ever-evolving workspace? That's the conversation for today. And quickly, we're just going to move into the conversation. I'm going to just call a panelist who is going to share on that very topic. And the question is, do you think that the education system in Nigeria is adequately preparing university students for the ever-evolving workspace? Over to you, Mr. Babatunde, or Mr. Oyi, Mr. Osama Iyawe. Over to you, sir.
Okay. Um, Good afternoon, everyone. I am Dr.
Good afternoon.
It's my pleasure to be here and quite excited to be able to shed light on this fantastic topic. I would say I don't really think the question is about whether the educational system is doing enough. I think the pertinent question or the issue at the front burner is how much is the national leadership, the nation's leadership, the government doing to support education via its structure, its models, and its budget. Now, before you talk about what the educational system is doing in terms of bridging the skill lacuna, you want to look at, firstly, is there a plan? Is there a plan in place by the government for education? That's one. And number two, what's the level of funding? What's the level of funding? We have issues that have to do with skill set, funding, curriculum, and the likes. For an educational system to be taken seriously, you have to review these factors to be able to say, oh, this particular country is making a headway or it is not. Let's take, for example, funding. It will amaze us to know that as far back as 2015, that Harvard's budget, now Harvard is the #1 educational institution, tertiary institution in the world. So if you want to benchmark education, you should be benchmarking with the best. Harvard alone, the budget for Harvard was $4.5 billion. $4.5 billion as far back as 2015. And then in 2018, Harvard's budget for research alone, was $1.2 billion. Statistics are there. You could check UNESCO and the various other sites according to the UN. Now, this is one school in a country, one school. We're not talking about America's budget for education. Nigeria's budget for education as at 2020 is a paltry 600 and something billion. I don't even want to go into the exact figures because I am kind of disturbed and irritated. I don't want to go into details to the very decimal point. You know, 600 billion something naira. And you ask yourself, this is the country's budget. Now, Andrew, Nigeria's budget for education now, not Nigeria's budget for tertiary education, not one university's budget, the whole of education. The whole of education. If you translate Harvard's budget in 2015 to naira, that amounts to 2.025 trillion naira. Just Harvard. Just Harvard. Now you tell me you're taking education serious. For 2019, the percentage of Nigeria's budget for education to its national budget as a whole in total was 7.02%. In 2020, it dropped to 6%, going downwards. So we are experiencing a decline. And education and research is the heart for change and transformation for any country. Ask UAE, ask Dubai, ask Qatar, ask Singapore, ask China. So that's the basis from which you start from. The plan, when you have a vision, you can know how much to commit to that vision. So you have to have a plan in place. What's Nigeria's strategy for education? If that is not in place, we would not know how much it costs for research and development. So for me, there's a decline. So when these issues are looked at critically, funding, plan, strategy, and I think that we can now begin to know that we are going somewhere and we are having a very formidable discussion. So that's how I want to look at it. That we cannot ask the question of how well the education is doing if we've not looked at the vision and plan and strategy for education and its funding. These are very critical issues. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was really powerful. That was really powerful. I would like for Hello? Can you hear me? Your mic is okay.
So I lost you. Was that directed to me? Because
yes, it was directed to you.
Okay, great. Thank you, everyone. Super thrilled to be here. Can you go back? I was very taken by the good doctor's response, and I cannot say for sure because I know he rephrased the question. So can you ask specifically, just ask the question again so that I can answer your question? Can you hear me?
Okay, to rephrase the question again. Okay, the question is, do you think, in your own opinion, do you think that the education system in Nigeria is doing enough as regard covering the gap when it comes to skill acquisition, when it comes to skill?
Thank you so much. I would align most of my thoughts with the good doctor. So I see that he shifted it to the government, and I agree with him. He mentioned three things: skill set, curriculum, which I'm very passionate about, and what's the plan for education and funding. I think that an approach to the best way to look at it. I'm very solution oriented. So I'm going to answer that. It's an obvious answer, which is no, but I'm going to attempt to shift our thinking into the realm of possibilities because that's where all the magic happens. We've seen a surge over the past few years, in terms of population. I dare say nobody, and I'm not going to bring the professors in Harvard into this conversation, have a quick answer for some of the challenges that we have in education as Nigeria. We have grown, population-wise, but our curriculum, our systems, we haven't moved with the times. So the quick answer is no. However, in this very difficult educational conundrum that we're in, I do see plenty opportunity for disruption. What do I mean? And thanks to COVID, I think our approach to education also has to change. I think there's a lot of opportunities for us to rethink new ways. I particularly liked the keynote speaker's point where he tried to discourage a lot of young people from rushing to go and do master's degree. We are still a very certificate-oriented economy. And then when you look at the gaps, especially around blue collar work or, technical work, then you start to wonder, what are we still doing in universities? And this is not to say don't get a university degree, but I think there's a lot of room for thinking around upskilling, for thinking around reskilling, and there is a strong case now for technical education so that we can now start to copy. I like the reference to China as well.
Yeah.
But the simple answer would be no.
No, of course, no. It's really, the energy I'm getting is really overwhelming. And what I'm discovering from the conversation is also shaping my mindset as regards the solutions that we are birthing, especially when it comes to education and how we can, do better in the education system. So I'd like for Onyi Kansola to give our own perspective to the same question. Do you think that the education system is doing enough? Your mic is on mute. Can you unmute your mic, please?
Okay, it's better. Can you hear me clearly now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, hello everyone. I forgive you for the Onyi Kansola. You can call me Onyiko. It's Onyi Kansola. You can call me Onyi or Onyiko.
Okay, thank you very much.
I agree with the last two speakers. I agree with them because I think both of them made very valid points on what our problems are. I also do not think our educational system is doing enough. I'm also more from the point of it starts from the top. It's already it's rotting from the top, so you can't really expect the basis when it gets down to be different. It starts from it's what you put emphasis on or what you put focus on. That's what is really going to get like serious attention. I do not think we have a government that has like the growth of our educational system at hand. And when I say educational system, I try not to only limit it to tertiary education, because really tertiary education is like at the end point of what has been happening since primary school. So I think educational system is not even setting up people for success. Start from primary school to university. It's not getting enough funds. If you even look beyond universities and come to the infrastructure decay, funding, research work having no support. One of our biggest issues in our educational system is actually funding. There's no funding. The government not even trusting the little research work that happens. And if there's so much like no infrastructure. I remember recently reading what ASU was trying to demand from the strike, and I found out that a university professor is earning about 450,000 naira. So when do you expect them to stop selling handouts and forcing people to buy textbooks? Like if a professor is earning 450, just imagine what your lecturer too is earning. So I think our educational system is a lot of places are just, it's not setting us up for success generally. And it begins from the government who sit at the zenith of affairs. Thank you.
Okay. Awesome contribution from there. Yeah, awesome contribution. So quickly, we're just going to look at solutions, because I am very keen on solutions. Yes, we cannot correct it from the top, but at least in our little sphere of influence, we can begin to rethink better ways of doing things. So I'd like to, because I also work, I run a social enterprise that's into education, providing relevant skills for university students. And so most of the things we do there is to expose these guys to the skills that they actually need to function in today's workspace. So I want to ask this question. In rethinking ways of optimizing the learning experience of these students, what ways would you suggest? What skills would you suggest that students begin to learn now that they are in school? Because we cannot continue to wait and blame the government. Our future is at stake. So in rethinking ways of optimizing the learning experiences, what would you suggest? Miss Precious first.
Oh, thank you so much. And this really does get me excited. What would I suggest? I'm a big advocate for a fine balance between formal and informal education. I find especially here, in our environment, there's so much focus on formal education. Even starting from primary level, I've got 2 children. I have a 20% expectation of the schools to build my children into their fullest potential, just 20. The other 80%, the bulk of it rests with my husband and I, the environment we create for them, as well as their own ingenuity. Why? Why do I say that? I say that with myself as an example. Most of the things I do today in terms of the career that I've cut for myself, I learned it from my grandmother. I learned a lot of life skills from listening to my father. And that's how I got, from where I was to having, a first class in innovation and things like that. So I'm a huge advocate for that. I feel like it's very hard. There's a lady, her name escapes me now, but she's one of the, Ellen Keller, yes, who was helping, free people in Nazi Germany and all of that. And she said one of the most difficult things wasn't in freeing people in captivity, but it was in convincing people that they were actually captive. That's where the challenge is. We have a mindset problem around here. We have a mindset problem. It affects the quality. I do a lot of work around upskilling, reskilling across the continent. And it might surprise you to know that even our attitude to work, in places where we say there are no opportunities. So I feel like as a society, so there is no government without the people. So I'm very careful, and you do, I agree, get the government that you deserve. So I'm very careful in separating government from us, because I think that kind of separation is one of the reasons we're here in the first place. Or it's the politicians who are doing it and we are the good. But if you look at it across every sector, even starting in family life in Nigeria, you will find parents who encourage their children to cheat, for example. You will find parents, even as little as common entrants, who go with their children to go and cheat. That's not the government now. So I think that there is a mindset problem. There is a mindset, there is a very misunderstood shortcut to success problem. That's, there is a what we qualify as success problem. I've been in some place where I was told all of you receive private jets, and I thought to myself, what frankly do I need that for? Even from an economic standpoint, it doesn't make any sense. I'm going to have it, I'm going to pack it, there's going to be a lot of fees accrued. They're good airline companies, I don't need it, but you find people who don't even have jobs, jumping around and being excited over such things. So in terms of change, I believe that if we change the way people think, we are one step ahead to getting solutions. And it's one of the reasons why I'm very excited at the work that I do, at Jobberman, creating a soft skills curriculum where we're teaching young people, starting from things like self-awareness. Like, who are you in the first place? How do you want to show up in the world? Why are you here? That sort of thing. I'll give you a fine example, a lesson I learned this week. I decided I wanted to do 15 courses this week. It was going to be my personal, but I challenged myself, 15 courses, 5 on Coursera, etc., just to make myself feel good. By the time I finished the 6th one, right, the law of diminishing returns started to happen. By the 6th one, I was excited. But when I got to the 7th one, I asked myself, why am I doing this really? Doesn't make any sense. Maybe you need to slow down. My point being, we need to challenge the mindset that we have currently. I genuinely feel that if we change how we think as Nigerians across all levels, we will be one step, and I'm talking at government level, I'm talking at family level, I'm talking at traditional rulers level, right? I'm talking at religious level, like they say. If we change our mindset, the way we think, we are one step closer to the future. Because if we change our mindset, we will no longer accept a government that we elect, whether you agree or not, who is not funding education. You know, the minute you remove yourself from the problem and maybe I sit here and say, I'm not part of the problem, it means that it allows me sleep well at night, waiting for the people in Aso Rock to solve it. We are all the problem and we are all the solution. I think not a very simple answer, but mindset change is a good first step.
Wow, awesome perspective. Yeah, awesome perspective. Because from the work I do, I realize that a lot of persons just want certificates. Like you are taking a course, and the first thing you are asking, are you going to give us certificates? You're taking a training online, and it doesn't. At the end of the day, after taking that training, there's no way they don't even know how to bring themselves to a place where they can deploy those skills that they've learned, and it's disheartening. So I would like Dr. Osama Iyawe to give his perspective to the same question.
Okay, let me try to, because I was really listening intensely to Madam Precious.
Okay, do you want me to go over the question?
Yes, solutions. Yeah, please.
Yes, yeah. Okay. In rethinking new ways of solving educational problems, what would you suggest?
Okay, rethinking new ways. Okay, the truth is that I can't help but go back to the percentage contribution of the budget to education. The truth, by that, we can understand leadership gravitation towards the matter. You know, there's this cliche that says, put your money where your mouth is. I don't know if you get it. You know, by the time the government starts showing its commitment to education through the budget, naturally, people's penchant to learning will gravitate alongside. Okay. You see funding to entertainment and entertainment shows. I don't want to go into one that has a B that starts it, and the craze and the fast that goes with it. You know, even when someone is evicted from that show, months after, you still find Nigerian youths talking about this person. This person is trending. I had to put up something on my status. I said, are they bankrolling votes for this event? You guys, man, get serious with issues that matter. You know, if you compare to neighbor African countries and countries across sub-Saharan Africa, Nigeria's budget education is still a far cry. We can't ignore that. I like what Madam Precious said. Government is made up of people. So if government is not paying attention, that means the people in government have to be responsible. And then when we have opportunities to project and implement policies that favor that, let's push for it. You have countries in sub-Saharan Africa having budget for education from 20% and above, Mr. Andrew. The minimum, Rwanda and the rest, is 20%. Nigeria barely gets to 10%. 10%. That's so paltry. That's so paltry. Even if you can do 10 and 12 at least, let's see some seriousness and some upflow and upgrade of that. Then you cannot have upscaled interest by parties and stakeholders in that sector. My sister Oyiko Sola talked about the lecturers. How can a professor, after putting at least minimum of 20 years of rigorous research, be earning less than $500,000? Mr. Andrew, are you with me? Less than $500,000.
Yes,
the professor is at the peak of research. That's the peak of research career. Sure. Less than $500,000. Convert that to USD. What does it make of the man or the woman? You know, the truth is, and we know in Nigeria, you cannot take out returns from any vocation. What is it bringing for me determines the level of motivation, that I put to this thing. If the least researcher is earning 500,000 a month, watch the output, watch their thinking capability, watch the way they dedicate themselves to critical thinking. Yes. You scale up to 20% of your budget. Okay, don't even do 20, do 15. Infrastructures are being overturned and transformed. Our libraries become e-digital platforms, all e-libraries. You can access databases from anywhere in the world. You will see the output in reality now. The difference between industry and classroom is so far. Theory and practice is so wide. You know, so we can't take away increase in budget, and this has to be done by policies. Then the remodeling of the curriculum. If you check, Nigerians are taught how to go to school, not how to be educated. The average Nigerian. Life skills. Madam talked about soft skills, how to handle money, money management, entrepreneurship, enterprise, innovation, creativity, and disruption. If you check, people who have made it in life, those out of Silicon Valley, it's because of skills like this. It wasn't necessarily about 4 years of a certificate, or 5 years here, 5 years medicine and surgery, 5 years architecture, 5 years law, 4 years accountancy. As it stands now, the people disrupting the world right now, my brother, we don't even know what they read. People like Jeff Bezos, who made $45 billion in the last 3 months. I don't know his first degree. My cousin, Mark Zuckerberg, if he even finished. They are the ones disrupting the world and IT space right now, logistics, and across Europe and across the globe. We talk about the other elder uncle of mine, Mr. Tesla. Mr. Tesla, remind me now. Elon Musk. Elon Musk.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? What did he do in his master's degree? What certifications? Disrupting and talking about what do you call them, vacation capsule flights to Mars, and people are booking. Go and check his stocks on the NSE, New York Stock Exchange.
It's just
moving per hour, skyrocketing. And if it was really by certificate, not certificate, you won't be hearing of such names. So yes, our curriculum cannot stay the same. It must be tilted to fit global trends and scenarios. Disruption, innovation, entrepreneurship. People need to be taught how to start earning from themselves, even before they get to university. Like we've established, it's not only about university education. The average American, when he's 10, 12, by summer, he's already thinking of earning money for himself. Work ethics, as early as that age. Meanwhile, the Nigerian of that age is thinking of how to pass common entrance and which school the father will have influence to get him in when he passes his JAM. Not that the certificate is going to count. Are you getting? So why still stay on those structures of courses and syllabuses and curriculum that at the end of the day don't translate to anything we meet in our real world called the real Nigeria? You know, street smart, informal education.
That's so much.
These things must be ingrained by policies into our learning curve. If we don't do this, we are not ready. What else? I talked about government policies, skill set, the measure between skill set and industry, the measure between the classroom and industry. So if I were to summarize, I would say we cannot play down on the contribution of the budget of education funding. We cannot play down on the remodeling of the curriculum to reflect what happens after school and life skills. And then we cannot play down on, we need to de-emphasize rather the attention or the impetus given to certificate over being able to show your ability. Yes. So for me, this I think are very, very cogent processes that must be put in place.
Wow, that was really awesome, sir. That was really awesome, sir. It's so condensed. It's so thick. You can chop it, and still have a chunk to take in. Thank you very much, sir, for that information. Thank you very much. It's really powerful, right? The problem that we have is that the kind of skills we acquire in the university is totally different from what we find that we need when we enter into the actual workspace. And you see that, I had the opportunity to work with a recruiting firm. That's like, I think 3 years ago in Abuja. And I had opportunity to interact with a master degree holder. And he was asked a simple question. Okay, with the collection of skills that you've acquired in school, what value are you going to bring to this organization? And the guy was stuttering. I was like, guy, master degree holder, are you kidding me? No, some of the courses that we are studying, they're not putting emphasis on soft skills, like being able to communicate your value, being able to put your ideas together. It's really overwhelming. So I'd like for Onyi to give us a perspective to the same question. Rethinking new ways of solving problems, especially when it comes to education.
Hello, thank you very much. I think I'm also in agreement with Dr. and Precious. Actually, I was taking notes when they were writing because a lot of things they said resonated with what I had in mind. But then I would just like to split my on answering the question, rethinking ways of optimizing learning experiences. I would like to split my answer into three parts, saying it rests with the government, primarily it rests with government a lot. It rests with people. I'll explain what I mean by people, and it rests with the individuals we are talking about going through having these learning experiences. For the government, it rests with the interest you begin to give to education, the focus you start to give to it, the focus the government has to give to it. It starts with how much is the government allocating for education in Nigeria. UNESCO recommends 15 to 26% as what your education budget should be from your total budget. Nigerians' budget percentage as at our last budget was 7.04% of our total budget. And Dr. Now saying that it was like 600 million compared to US's budget per annum of like $79 billion or Canada of like 50 something billion dollars. You see why we are lagging behind. If you check our universities rating, our best university currently by the last rating by the Center for World Rankings is UI, and UI is rating like I think 1,400 and something. The year before it was 1,500, meaning something has happened. It is dropping further. The next university that occurs is like farther in the 1,000s. I think it's either UN or Covenant, and the third one is outside. Even our dear Uniben is not even showing up before 2000. So it tells us something. What focus is the government giving to education, whether it comes to infrastructure, whether it comes to even the people giving out this, the people that the tools of sharing this knowledge, being our lecturers, our teachers, whether it comes to research. For example, you get that even curriculum. If you check curriculum, we've been talking for a long while now on how because so many universities now, people are getting so many degrees and there are no jobs. How people need to start to learn actually hard skills, things they can do and make money from, build skills they can build, entrepreneurship and all that. We've been talking about that for a while. So they went and changed secondary school curriculum at a point, and they put in some subjects there that are supposed to help secondary school students build some skills and all that. But to be sincere, how many of these schools have the kind of tools they need to teach those courses? Go and check the secondary school. My mom retired this year after being a teacher for 30 plus years. And when she sits you down to talk about what she had to go through teaching, one teacher teaching a class of like 150 students. And that is not her only arm. She has like 2 other arms waiting. Please tell me, in very truthful sense, how is she supposed to be effective? She's just going to try her best and she's just going to give it out. And well, the one that wants to pick it, the one that wants to learn it should learn it. Because really, if a teacher is having to go against 500 students, 600 students, what do you think is happening? And if you check salaries for these people, what motivation are you giving to them to do their job? They are not well paid. Even the facilities they have to teach, you need to see some of these classrooms where students are sharing chairs for places where they even have chairs. We see pictures of students having to sit on the floor. This is not even alone in secondary school. You come to Uniben and you see, I remember the amount of times some lectures I did not want to go for because, well, it's just one part of my bum that's going to sit on a chair, or I'll stand throughout for the next 2-3 hours. So when it comes to when we talk about government, we can't remove government because we talk about learning hard skills and all that. We need to come to the learning experience. What are these learners going through to even acquire the little they learn? And if you talk about the focus on certificate, it starts from our government because we come from a country where everyone believes you need to get a certificate. Recently, I was talking to someone and I was trying to tell her that, okay, you can go and get these courses on Coursera and all that. She was like, is there a certificate? I'm like, that's not what your problem should be. Your problem should be you need this knowledge. Why are you asking me if there's a certificate? There are free courses on Coursera. They just will not give you certificates. I'm sending you there so that you can get this. I go there. I don't have the money to pay for it every time. But then I learn what I want to learn. They will not give me certificate. But, well, I know how to do what I learned there. Maybe we need, if focus is begins placed by government, even the kind of people they appoint to lead offices, you find out that, I'm not saying civil servants don't know what they are doing, but a lot of civil servants have not stepped out of the sphere of what they've been doing for for a while, that they become complacent, that they are not even in touch with what is even happening in reality. So when you begin to pick people that don't really are not as up to date as they should be with what is happening, what kind of policies do you think will be coming out of that space? So I think the government really needs to change from the curriculum to the funding to our libraries. I remember writing a project in Uniben, and I had to register for library for the first time in 4 years. And I went to the library very expectant. I'm writing a project in 2011, and I'm seeing books from 1999. No, yeah, I was 1999, 2000. I'm like, how am I supposed to be cutting things that 10 years? I just dumped my library card and went to go and find my way outside school. So the emphasis government gives to this will really go a long way. Like, we cannot remove it. See what happened during COVID.
Really
everything
powerful.
See what happened during COVID. Every single thing that came from Nigeria, nobody trusts it because, well, we know that we've not given emphasis to research. So someone from Abakaliki will not come and tell me to use this drug and I'll use it because, well, what support have we given it or that we trust what is churning out? Then when we go to people, I think it was Precious that mentioned the mindset of parents. I like that Precious mentioned that for our children, she had already made up her mind that 20% was from the school and 80% was based on she had realized that 80% was what she and her husband were doing. I don't have children yet, but I've been saying to my friends for a while now that if I have kids, I think my kids might go to less of the lessons. You know, when we're in school, like we go to so many lessons, like math lesson, English lesson. A lot of my friends, they used to have it worse than me. I began to say, maybe my kids don't need to be going to all that thing. You find adults these days that even basic life skills like swimming, a lot of us can't swim. So why are we going to things that are very fast, craft and all those kind of things? Maybe it needs to come from the people. What kind of mindset are we building in our children? Are we only bringing them up to be about book, or are we saying these other things are also important? When a school says no to something, what do you say at home? If a school says, oh, you're not supposed to cheat, as a parent, I know someone that told me that when she was writing WAEC, her parents used to give her 1,000 every day for her to use to pay for special center in her school. So I used to wonder, like, if your parents can do that, did they really accept that results when you brought it? Because you know it's not your result. So it also comes to a case of mindset from the people that support, that are creating a support for the learners. You might not be a parent yet, but you have younger ones. What are you cultivating your younger ones? I'm on Twitter and I'm seeing they're asking, this time they were writing an exam, they were spaced out, and people were making comments like, oh, more, if not so I write my exam, I for no pass. So in my mind, I'm like, you are publicly declaring that you cheated to pass your exams and you think that is right. So what kind of mindset are we? That's really you have powerful. Siblings, you have cousins. What are you doing? Then let me just quickly bring it to the individuals as a person. I know when we were in school, there were some people that knew what they were doing before some of us. People like me, I'll say sometimes when I was in university, I didn't really know what we were doing. It's very funny that I didn't really understand the concept of GPA till I was in final year. It's very funny, but I didn't understand it. Like, I am not proud to say, but I tell people that I don't even know my graduating GPA because before I got there, they had turned it off from the wall. And I did not bother calculate because someone that not 100, like, it was just some days ago, I found out that I was in 3.5 in 200. I'm like, wow, I even did that well in 100 level. I didn't know. So I'm just telling you, like, what kind of resources are even available for people to be able to do this kind of things, to be able to monitor their study? Maybe you as an individual now need to step out of what is available for you. Like, I was going to talk about Jobberman, and I'm happy that Precious has talked about it because I have a friend, Nikki, and I'd seen what Nikki had put up recently about what Jobberman was trying to do. And I kept reading, and I was hoping that someone would actually see these things and learn from it. It's beyond book work. I remember in recruiting at a point, we started differentiating between smart. We'll say this person is book smart. Once you write book smart, what we're basically saying is that you are book work good, but in the street-wise smart, you are not, you are deficient. So I can assure you that once you write this person is smart, we mean you are an all-rounder. Once you write you are book smart, we've already cut you out. So maybe you as an individual need to define what are the extra things I need to be learning, what are the soft skills I need to be learning, how can I get them? You cannot wait for what is available because you really need to be doing more for yourself. If you are sitting at home, you're waiting to do NYC, what are you learning during NYC period? You cannot wait. IT, basic technology, you need to speed up. So
Wow,
thank you
this
very
is
much.
really powerful. This is really powerful. Some of the questions I lined up to ask, you guys are just punching it from all sides. Thank you very much for the value that you've shared. And want to quickly just check to see the questions that our participants are asking so that we can ensure that we are hitting it where we need to hit it. Thank you. So quickly, the first questions, please, keep sending in your questions. Keep sending in your questions. We are rounding off very soon. Keep sending in your questions. The first question, I would like for Dr. Osama to hit on this question. What can be done, especially by an undergraduate, to balance education and skill acquisition? Quickly, what
Okay.
can be done, sir?
There's so many things, so many things. Very, very interesting and cogent question that will bring light to matters of skill set, you know, and self-empowerment. Now, we have entered a very disruptive season, which I call our finest hour, and it's the finest hour for millennials and Generation X. From the comfort of your room, with your device and data, you can enter so many Ivy League institutions in the world. You can follow influencers. You can follow authorities. You can learn. See, my core is business intelligence and financial intelligence. But during this lockdown, I went through a full set of modules, 26 of digital marketing, totally poles apart from my area. And I've gotten my certificate, Google certified. So it's a mindset thing. It's an orientation shift thing. Learning doesn't have to be done in the classroom anymore. I push young people and youth, and I tell them, this device you have in your hand is no longer a tool for entertainment. The world is in your palm, at your fingertips. A good phone, Android platform, or iOS, Apple, whatever it is, as long as you can access Google Play Store and iStore, you are good to go. Most of the courses that Google was offering, even some from Stanford, Yale, and Harvard, they were free. I heard Sister Oyi talk about courses she had to learn. Coursera, I've been dealing with Coursera as far back as 5 years ago. You know, town planning, state design. You know, there's nothing like this is how I'm crafted anymore. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yes.
You have to have a dynamic mindset to plug into several areas, because gone are the days where you enter the four walls of an institution to learn skills for entrepreneurship. There are master classes going on severally, culinary, fashion, interior design, while you can be doing your school. So this idea of just subbing your device and buying data just to go and make noise on Instablog, to go and chitty chatty on Twitter, or show how savagery you can be in terms of washing people down. Your device is way more than that. Or pushing so much votes for BBN. For people who don't know you, BBN housemates. The world is moving, and it's going to move faster within the next 10 years than it ever did before, because borders have fallen. We are totally in a borderless world by your device. So take advantage of such offerings and get into class as often as possible. But the basic thing is to know your interest, where your interest lies. There are several platforms to learn on them. You have Instagram, the influencers are there. You have Twitter, you have Facebook groups and Facebook pages. You have YouTube. YouTube is a treasure chest. I can tell you that most of my speaking engagements, my designs, I now design them myself. How did I do it? I installed Canva. Very clean infographics, content marketing, pushing content out.
Sweet.
At no cost. Very sweet. In fact, I did one and popped it up before my wife saw it, and she was like, who did you pay to do DP? I said, look at you. I've gone.
You don't know.
So the truth is, right now, with this singular device of a smartphone, the world is your oyster. The issue is, where are you looking at? Even your WhatsApp status is a channel. You are a channel. What are you selling? What are you uploading? Enough of gossip and chitty chatter. All your contacts are potential markets and potential funds. Utilize it. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much. That was really powerful. That's really powerful. So someone also asked Mrs. Precious. Now this question is directed to you. Someone is asking and is saying, okay, he's saying, you talked about changing and challenging the mindset of people. And he wants to know, how do we change and challenge our mindset towards developing the right skills? Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for that question. I like to use myself as an example, and it's not some sort of self-glory, but I feel like it's relatable. If I could do it, then you can. How did I change my mindset? So apart from the fact that I say I had a father who was taken by critical thinking, which helped me in terms of foundation, but in secondary school, I struggled. I used to be, I remember one time, maybe I was three positions away from coming last in class. And I remember feeling so bad, and my father looking at me and saying, well, you're smarter than this. He always called me a genius. And I did not understand why he did that, because I'm thinking, I can't pass physics. I don't even know what is in a babio, for example, very confusing for my creative mind. And I failed. But I still remember, because I like that I'm a guinea pig, so I know exactly what I'm saying, and I need you to listen. I still remember going into university. I remember, just saying to myself that before I got to university, my dad said, look, you don't have to become a doctor. I want you to think about what you can become and go for it. So I chose economics, because I'm given to debates, etc. And I sat down, first day in school, I sat down in front of the library. I still remember vividly. And I said to myself, I was talking to my brain now, and I said, look, we struggled in secondary school. If not for NECO, we probably wouldn't even be here, because that saved my life. WAEC was a total flop. And I said, look, I'm going to tax my brain and see what happens at the end of 4 years. I'm just going to task you. So I'm going to do everything right, do the reading, attend the classes, and stretch myself. Let me see what happens. At the end of year 4, I graduated with a 4.0. I wasn't satisfied though, because at that point I was becoming more confident in my ability to reach a first class. But it was a good first step, so that by the time I was doing my master's, I was able to grow to a first class. But that's not the only time I've challenged myself. I sit down every single day to question my own assumptions. Because one of the reasons why we do not grow is that we don't question our assumptions. Once you hold on to your map of the world is not the territory. I like Doctor's point about the disruption. I genuinely feel that this is the best generation to be alive. I don't consider myself just a citizen of Nigeria. I consider myself a citizen of the world.
Yes.
Because talent, as we speak, is global, right? There's such a thing called Google University. If you Google anything, so maybe the government is trying to mess us up. Ignore the government. They're not going to change you. Albert Einstein says, if you continue to do the same thing expecting different results, he calls it insanity. If you go to Nigeria and look at newspaper headlines from the 1970s, they were begging for they were begging for power, constant power. It's the same rhetoric in 2020. I don't have that many lifetimes to live my life with people who I don't see that level of seriousness, because I've got work to do in this lifetime that I'm blessed with. So what? You're a citizen of the world. Question your assumption. Assume you don't know things. And then self-value. I remember when I was going to start to build a family, I decided that I was going to work. I've been working from home largely for the past 8 years now, since my children were born. And people said it cannot happen in Nigeria. That's what every time I've been told something cannot happen, I go out and I make it happen. And I remember when I was pitching to my employers, I said, look, we are here in terms of profitability, etc. I'm going to sit from my home, taking care of my baby, and I'm going to bring 60% in terms of business revenue measurable. If I do that, would you let me work from home? What do you think they said? I mean, I come to the office, I use their internet, I use their resources, and then they're just paying me salary, we're not meeting our targets. Or I have time to strap my baby in the back like I was doing, and then I'm able to go to so many different places. What do you think they said? They said, Precious, if you deliver this, right, you can work from anywhere in the world. Nobody cares. Just show up for your team meetings and then help your team. And that's how I got it. And that's how I've negotiated all sorts of things in my life. I've held training sessions across Africa. I used to train for ExxonMobil at a time when people said, for you to start to train for ExxonMobil, you must go through a certain thing. So what I would say is, but many people would ask me, but Precious, how do you build that level of confidence? Knowledge is very powerful. So question your assumptions. Move out from your circle. Some of us, the limitation is the environment that you're in. You know, once you stay in an environment where people who love you empower you to be a victim, they do you no justice. The world loves the hero story. I like when Doctor said, where on earth did Jeff Bezos come from? Whilst we're all sitting, here he is, right? And we love stories like that. We love the hero story, the person who comes from nowhere and then becomes something. So you need to, after this call, sit down, spend some time reflecting. What kind of life do I want to build? Remember what the keynote speaker said about, you know, where do I want to be in 10 seconds, in 10 minutes, and in 10 years? And start building, because I tell you this for free. The Nigeria of the next 10 years is going to have a new crop of millionaires. We are going to see knowledge become even more relevant. When I was reading books back in the day, people used to laugh at me. What are you doing reading books? You know, a man is going to marry, blah, blah, blah. Where are we now with the equality debates? The world is changing. Don't sit down now. Start to plan your life for the next 10 years, starting today, and start with an open mind. Be curious. Be open to learning. The biggest enemy of progress is our own assumptions. Nobody is after you but you. I have had to learn new ways of eating. I've had to learn how to use chopsticks that are not traditional to me, just so that I can build rapport with people from a different culture. You see what I mean? And you have to be committed to learning. We're in the knowledge economy. I like when Doctor said he has gone to go and learn how to do video. I'm learning how to do video editing by myself. I've had to upskill. You need to upskill. You need to reskill. Some of us need to drop our university certificate and go to a technical school to go and learn an actual skill, not and bolts, so that we can earn a living. Many times, and this is how I'm going to end this, I see a lot of young people dressed in nice fancy suits, and then you come back home, by the time they do all the deductions, you're not earning a living. But the lady who bakes the cake for my children also has a master's degree. She's able to employ about 40 people across Lagos, and she's doing very well. So we need to, and sometimes you see some people, let me say this. I was part of a research group for a group of Germans who was trying to come into Nigeria, and you know, they did some surveys, and you know what they found out? That Nigerians will exchange salary for positional titles. So they decided to call people things like front desk manager. And Nigerians are happy to be, I'm a manager, so that you can carry that and show somebody, as opposed to some real value. You need to remove the BBA culture. You need to move it, step away from things that are not helping you and now become real. Maybe you need to go back to the farm. He trained you, he trained your siblings. What are you doing in Lagos? For some of you, maybe it's to go back to the farm and help your mother. In closing, yesterday evening, I saw a girl, a graduate, and I'm sure some of you know her, who won $100,000 funding for her bukwa business. Her mom made, sold breadfruit to train them. And she went back to modernize it, because that's the advantage that you have. You can take that traditional business and disrupt it with technology. And she's changed that, and she got that 100,000 USD grants. How many of us in offices have 100,000 USD in our bank accounts? That's how I'll leave that. Thank you.
Awesome one. So some of the questions, I just went through some of the questions that they're asking, and I see that we have touched on the questions even while we are answering other questions. And so to Dr. Yahweh, someone is directing a question to you specifically, and the person is saying, do you think that the issue is poor allocation of funds to education, or the person is suggesting it's out that you think that it's not misallocation of funds by school management?
Poor funding or misallocation. Yeah, whether it's not the latter rather than the former, if I get you.
The former, yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Basically, I happen to be in a research system, University of Benin, to be precise. So I know firsthand that if the government was doing more by way of increased funding, we will see more. Yes, there are issues of misappropriation and mismanagement, but the degree to which it happens as compared to what is sent or what is um, allocated cannot be compared. Okay, if you are allocating every year 1 billion to each tertiary institution, government owned institution. By that I mean federal universities, state universities, then maybe for each secondary school, unity schools, you're allocating about 100 million. And someone is mismanaging 10 million out of that, it will still make no difference. It's not justifying or supporting corruption, but that is the degree of difference. You know, um, you are still supplying maybe or you're still sending allocating a paltry maybe 100 million to one university throughout a year, and somebody makes away with 5 million. Is that what should be your issue? When the 100 million you're sending is not even adequate. Population has increased. Precious made mention of that, my sister. You know, the level of allocation to some universities, let me make you know how bad it is, Andrew. The level of allocation to some universities will not be sufficient for a school if the school were situated in 1995. That's how bad. That's how bad. They are sending subventions for schools like when they just got inaugurated. A school like Uniben was inaugurated as far back as 1975, and the population has multiplied over 20 times. But you find out that the federal government may still want to send subvention and funds as if it's 1975 or 1984. Now, why will we be talking of corruption in that situation? The allocation is already wrong. It's already wrong. So let government do its bit. And when it does its bit properly, it can now hold the stakeholders accountable. Do you get it? We've given you what you want to. All the ASU back and forth, that's where it's coming from. Now, we've given you what you want to. This is money for research. Look at me now as a core researcher, apart from my consulting that I do on the side, with institutions and organizations. I have not gone for an international conference. I've done 10 years in core research. I've not gone for an international conference to upgrade on government sponsorship. 10 years. Let's beat dash rates. I've not been sponsored for one conference. Okay, let's even say local, leave international. I'm going to the next state. I have not. Are the funds released? Yes. Sometimes in billions. Who gets it? How many can you say per school gets this funding? You start looking at issues, you now begin to see matters of what do you call it now? Character assassination and impropriety. These funds come out, some people get the share of 10 people, why some don't get at all? Are you getting? You understand? Misplaced priorities and improper sharing. So there's so much to deal with when you're talking about funding that is not even close to bringing up the issue of misappropriation on the part of management of school. Now that's what I'm talking on the part of management of school. Sometimes these funds don't even reach the school, but these funds are provided for. My brother, how do you deal with that? You're writing and sending letters to the appropriate authorities. Money has been sent to, did you not get it? And blah 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 blah. That year passes, they say money has been retired. You can't blame the management of the school at that point. You get? So if government does what it's supposed to do, we see it the way it's supposed to be seen, is followed up, then you can now say, okay, we have proof that this money got to the school. How was it managed? And we gave you what you wanted. The key word, we gave you what you wanted. So I think that even though they are, in summary, cases and bits of misappropriation and corruption on the part of management of schools, it is not significant enough to wedge it as against the problem of underfunding. That's my point. Thank you.
Wow, awesome, really awesome. That's really powerful. So quickly to Onyi Kansola. So quickly, I'd like for you to just itemize some of the skills that you think university students should begin to learn now. While we are waiting for the government to answer us, what skills do you think that the university students in present time now, what skills do you think they should begin to learn now in 1 minute?
Let me just quickly summarize this by saying I was around for Dr. Taiwo's session, and I think he already gave a very good summary of the kind of skills, soft skills, and hard skills we need to be acquiring. I just want to throw in summary for soft skills. It would be nice for you to have things like basic technology from cloud computing to how to actually use Excel. Stop writing coefficients in Excel when you know you don't even have a good understanding of it. You can use your phone to reset things like Canva, how to do this. Canva teaches basic design, how to do design with Canva, Photoshop, Illustrator, all those kind of things, problem solving, collaboration. It seems very funny, but a lot of people have collaboration or adaptability issues. The way I've been taught, you might need to step out of your way to find out some of these things. Dr. Oyedele already gave a very good summary from the kind of things, analytical reasoning, UX design, just the kind of things. But I just want to borrow from what Precious said on you need to remove assumptions from your mind. There are no skills that you should say are beneath you. Find out things you enjoy doing. I think the second best graduating female student, or not the first in my class in Uniben, is currently a tailor, or is it fashion designer we like to call it. And I can tell you she learned those things. She's my friend. She learned when we were in school. While me, I used to go to her house and sleep. She'll be cutting clothes and going after school to go and learn. Then we went on this 6 month ASU strike. Me, I went to go and spend it in Lagos, playing out my life. She spent it learning how to sew shroud. That is what she does. I can tell you she finished way better result than me, but today she sews, and for one cloth, you will not sew one cloth with my friend less than 8-9K. It's not possible. So I think we just need to clear our minds of assumptions and find out beyond soft skills and the kind of skills we need to be better candidates. We also need to look at what are the kind of hard skills we can make money from. Precious talked about baking cakes. There's so many things you need to. What if you don't get the job you so desire? What if you have all these beautiful soft skills and you don't get the job you want? You might need to step out and see carpentry. So many things that you can learn. Lady carpenter makes so much money. Lady painter.
Money, yes, yes.
Clear your mind of assumptions as something being
That's really
beneath you.
true. Yeah, yeah. That's really true because there's something that happens when a lady takes on a role that is, everybody believes that that role is for a male, right? When she takes up that role, people prefer her even more than her male counterpart. This is really amazing, and I really enjoyed this session from Dr. Osama, Precious, and Onyi Kansola. I'm really excited for this conversation. And I think what really stands out in this conversation is the mindset thing, because that is what really changes the conversation, starting with the government, starting with organizations that are into education, and also individuals, these university students, rethinking new ways to becoming better for the kind of future that we envision for ourselves. And I really celebrate all the value that you have dished out here, and we are really excited to have done this with you. So, guys, participants, please, I want you to say a big thank you to our panelists as in 1 minute each, a quick one to the participants in 1 minute each, sir. Starting with you, Dr. Osama.
Okay. I just want to challenge our students, as well as also appreciate our co-panelists for the depth, of insight they brought. To the students, I would say, you are your own government right now, and your goal should be to become a global passport. See what you, by the values you imbibe, can do for your country, and no longer your country doing for you. We have several people like the names of Chiamanda, Genevieve. Let me use female so that I won't be as if I'm biased, who have become national brands and passports in themselves. If the government cannot help you, you can rise to the occasion by being a pride to your government. You can be a passport. No limits. Thank you very much.
Hello? I'm not sure I'm the only one that can't hear anything. I just want to be sure.
I can't hear as well. I
Okay.
think there's something wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, where's our moderator?
I think our moderator is having some internet
Yeah.
issues.
I'm sorry about that, everyone. Sorry. Our moderator is currently off now. My name is Omotoyo Siola Samson. I am the in-house consultant here in SFC Univen. So we'll just wait for him to continue. But before he joins us, I'm sure we would just like you to hear a minute word, just a last word of wisdom from you, Oyin Consola. Can you just talk to us? Because of our time, we just want to ensure. So let's just hear from you, Oyin.
My panelists are giving fine finishing speeches. Let me use my just last 1 minute to answer a particular question that resonated with me on having parents that are not really in line with parents that are one-way road, linear thinking. I saw that question, and you wanting to do all these things and your parents are not in agreement. From my point of view, I think you just need, as a person, you need to find a middle ground. So structure what you're doing. What time are you spending doing those things they want you to do? Because, well, they need to pay fees and all that. Then on your own time, what are you using your own time for? You need to shift your own time from just being from social media for the fun of it. Those things that you want to do, you can start doing them on your own time and do what your parents want for them, then create your own space. And when you are done with your certificate, really, they might not be able to control you as much as when you were in school. Then you can begin to cultivate those things for yourself. I just hope for everyone that we would begin to have a shift of mindset that it takes beyond just having a certificate and reaching out for so much more. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Oyin, and that's amazing. And I'm sure that you've done justice to that question. Really, this session has been mind-blowing. It has been erupting from one thing to another, and we've been learning a lot. So, lastly, we would like to hear from Precious. Precious, I have attended Jobama soft skills training, a lot of the trainings that you have done. Even I'm looking forward to the Jobberman Career Fair that is coming up soon. So, on a final note, what would you like to tell us in terms of the educational system and what we have discussed today?
So I would say take control of your life. Many times people don't like this advice, but you see, like I tell my children and I tell the people that I mentor, and it seems to be working very well for them. Just the other day, somebody called me and said she was joining Mary Lynch in the US. And when you think about this person being an orphan, didn't have father, didn't have a mother, and still able to rise above all of these challenges to get there. We have just this one life experience. If you live in reincarnation, maybe you will come back. But my thinking is this is it, right? So what you do with it is up to you. And when you think about the fact that we're not fighting any wars, I think this is one of the first generation of Nigerians, at least, because my parents have stories of war. I don't have any story, myself being a millennial. So we're not fighting any wars. There's nothing really happening, of course, apart from the internal wars that we're creating of this confusion. But I would say take your mind away from the thing that is not helping you. And whilst you're in school, what can you do? For example, there's a Jobberman soft skills curriculum. I'm very excited about that. I created that because for me, I always want to be part of the solution. I always want to be part of the solution. For me, that's where all the magic happens. So it's free, thanks to Mastercard Foundation. So if you go on jobberman.com/soft skills, you can do this training for free. By October, you will be able to access this training in Coursera. So we're going on Coursera. I'm very excited. Content that was in my head is now going to be in Coursera. And it's going to be free for you. So that's one. We have a virtual career fair coming up. Samson, I'm happy that you're coming. Please come. And then let us start to reimagine ourselves. Maybe being a farmer is not a bad thing after all. There is a dearth of technical skills globally. It's not just a Nigerian problem. So meaning that even there are some countries, for those of us who are looking outside of these shores, that you can go to just because of your technical competence. There's a lot of opportunity for technical people in Nigeria. So maybe the solution is not to we might not need extra accountants, but we need artisans, skilled artisans. So please start to think differently. Upskill, reskill, and commit to lifelong learning. Thank you so much for your time, guys.
Awesome, 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 awesome one, awesome one. Thank you very much for the amazing, amazing value that you have dished out here. I hope that the participants and all of us are able to create a new reality for ourselves. And thank you, Dr. Osama. Thank you, Unyi Kasala. Thank you, Precious, for your time. It's very much appreciated. So, guys, let's say thank you in the comment section. Let's say thank you in the comment section. Let's give a standing ovation. Should I stand? Okay, then. Let's give a standing ovation. Amazing, amazing. Thank you very much. We want to say thank you to Student Finance Club for putting such an amazing event together, and also take advantage of the soft skill training by Jobberman. Take advantage of it. We are putting up the link to the training. Also, participants, please do well to fill the feedback forms. Do well to fill the feedback form so we can know how best to serve you the next time that we do this. Thank you for staying through to the very end of this panel session. I remain your host. I remain your moderator, Andrew Bineweka, the founder of Go A Bit Further Africa, where we are providing affordable mentorship and relevant skills for the ever-evolving workspace. Thank you. Over to you, Elijah. Thank you so much, Andrew. Thank you. It was great having you around. While you left, I introduced myself and said, my name is Oyedele Samson. I am the in-house consultant here at SFC UNEBEN. And honestly, I love your suits. You look dashing, and you've handled this session with interesting questions. And it was just awesome to have you. Thank you so much. Thank you for attending this year's career fair with us. We appreciate you. We'll look forward to seeing more of you in our future conferences and stuff. Thank you so much. Thank you, Onyi Consolat. Thank you, Precious. Thank you, Dr. Osama. We really, really appreciate you. Just a few announcements, guys. We have the feedback form that has been sent. The link to the feedback form has been set on the chat platform. So you could check the chat platform for the feedback form. We want to know what you want to say. We want to hear from you about our performances, about our speakers, about the sessions. We want to hear from you. We want you to let us know how can we be better, because we want the best for you. And we would also like you to know that it hasn't ended. This is just the first phase. So by next weekend, Friday, September 18th and 19th, we're going to be having a masterclass, one by UTVA, one of our partners. And the second was going to be handled by our Jobberman. Jobberman has been with us for a very big time. And we are really glad about that. And we're looking forward to seeing Jobberman train us about CVs and stuff. I mentioned the Jobberman Career Fair, virtual career fair that is coming up. Please let us have this in mind. And to as many people that are looking to apply for international opportunities, you should know by now that Bank of America's registration, African recruitment is currently on. You might want to go on their website and check for that. They are going to have a sort of an overview about their recruitment processes on Tuesday. Please ensure, if you haven't registered, go register, go to their site and do so. Same with Goldman Sachs, even different companies across. And you can also go on the Jobberman website if you're looking to apply for internships, you're looking to apply for virtual internship, remote internship jobs. If you're a recent graduate, you don't know what to do as of now, those opportunities are there for us. Thank you very much. And I really want to thank everyone that has stayed back to enjoy this session. Right from, I know Taiwo had left, but it was a mind-blowing session from Taiwo. It was good to hear from Taiwo. He gave us a lot of key points in terms of the soft skills that we have to be creative, we have to be persuasive, we have to be adaptable in terms of our soft skills. So And even in terms of our hard skills, we need to understand that technology is the order of the day, and we have to have an idea about a thing or two. Now we've heard things from someone like Dr. Osama making us understand that he can already design. He makes his designs himself using Canva. Your phone is not just there for you to just goof around, or like he said, just throw jabs online and stuff. You need to maximize your resources and bring the best out of yourself. And also we have even different things that we can learn. Your WhatsApp status, be careful of what you put on your WhatsApp. I say this a lot. Let your WhatsApp status show the kind of person that you are. So on that note, thank you everyone for joining us. If you've seen someone you like, reach out to them, say hello to them, shout out their name. It was lovely. If there's one thing you like about the whole session, let us know. We'd like to hear from you. We'd really, really like to hear from you. And I want to thank every single person that has contributed to the success of this career fair. I'm going to start with our president. Our president is Elijah Ebulue, and he has been instrumental.
Hello, everybody. Can someone hear me? I don't know if anybody can hear me. I think hello, something. Okay, I think you're back on.
Hello, can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you now. I think
yeah. Okay, sorry. I said I wanted to say thank you to our organizers. I want to thank you to the team. Big thank you to the team. Thank you for the management of SFC. Thank you to our president, and also we want to say a big thank you to our alumni body. Want to thank our former president Emmanuel Jemigbe. We want to thank people like Olanike Salau, Ibrahim Suleiman that joined all the way from the UK. Thank you so much to all our alumni, people that put one or two things to help us where we are. Thank you so much. And thank you to all our attendees. We really, really appreciate you. Those that have joined us on Zoom and on YouTube. We also recognize the presence of all our attendees on YouTube. We love you, we appreciate you, and we hope you've picked a lot of things that you have learned online today. And it's not just about learning, it's about putting them into practice. So put them into practice, what you have learned. Thank you so much. And we look forward to seeing you in next week. For those that haven't registered for our masterclass, it is coming up next week, September 18th and 19th. Please plan to attend. It's going to be another amazing session. We're prepared for it. Thank you so much. So on this note, we'll
hello, something. Sorry, we're supposed to give. Hello.
Yeah.
We're supposed to do a giveaway now. We're supposed to do a giveaway as well as announcing. Can you hear me? I said we're supposed to do a card giveaway.
Okay.
As well as announcing. As well as announcing CV review winners, because Jobaman and Edubri sponsored CV reviews. So I would love to. I think I'll have to do the card giveaway.
Since we are going to Oleja, please can you just project the
definitely. So we'll be starting with I think
giveaway card already on it. So we're about to start the giveaway. Yes. So we're going with Airtel. Please go. You can check it on the screen. Just for those that don't have it, 5257359313955395. The giveaway number again for Airtel subscribers: 5257359313955395. That's it. If you've gotten it, please let us know in the chat section. Please. Oh, that's amazing. Messi Odigwe got that. So Elijah, please, the next card, please, the next network, please. Let's be fast with this. Glow subscribers. Glow subscribers, we go 15206852737. 64635. I go again, 152068527364635. If you got it, please let us know in the chat session. Oh, Topa got it. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So next network, please. MTN subscribers, 994825384771017771. 994825384771. Please, if you got it, let us know in the chat section if you got it.
Yeah, I think Adesua got it. Adesua got it.
Amazing, Adesua, you got it. Is there still other
yes,
giveaways, or is that all?
No giveaways. I would just like to showcase the names of individuals that got CV reviews. Yeah, the CV review winners. We'll be reaching out to everybody via email. And I also love to use this opportunity to try to remind everybody. We'll reach out to everybody via email and as well as SMS, the links to the masterclass. So it's going to be an hour 13, probably 30 minutes masterclass on Saturday. Yes, 18th of September 2020 by 3. Jobberman will be taking us on CV writing as well as cover letter writing, and how to get and secure opportunities during interviews to get and how to win and come across interview questions. There's some interview questions that when they are being thrown at you during interviews that might be shaky. So you get the opportunity to now to answer some hot interview questions. So by 3 p.m. next week Saturday, yes, we'll be having our first session. Then the next day on Friday rather, on Friday. So the next day on Saturday by 12 we'll be having a section by YouTuber, introduction to data analysis. So it is a free masterclass. We've been able to secure that partnership with them. So I'll be showing my screen now. If you see your name, please try to reach out to us. Then we'll be reaching out to everybody via mail. Everybody will get to see. Yes. Samson, can you see my screen now? Hello, Samson.
I'm here. I am here, please.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, no, it just went off. Okay, it's coming back.
Okay, these are the names of CV reviews.
Okay, I'll just quickly run them through. The names of our CV review winners quickly. Elijah Ebulue, Valerie Andrew, Ayomide Akindele, Evans Omonua, Unsogurua Willie, Sheyi Odebode, Jason Tosin Oni, Osahon Michael, Akinpelu Peter. Next, please. Yes, so those are our winners. Is that all, Elijah?
No, I'm coming. Let me share the other slide, please. Sorry.
Oh, okay. So our winners again, in continuation, Eddie Uwogirian. Apologies if I can't get the pronunciation of your name properly, just apologies. Eloho Ogene David, Eunice Edel Gon, Jessica Ajuonoma, Kingsley Eze Ainka, Sheyi Odebode, Jason Tosin Oni, Victoria Nwana, Amana Peace, Isaac Obim Esi, Chibaka Tencel. Next, please.
That's all. So next week, we'll be expecting everybody next week during the masterclass.
Okay.
18th and 19th.
Amazing.
Yeah, so on the 18th, I would like to reiterate, on the 18th, we'll be having the masterclass from 3 p.m. The links will be sent across to everybody via mail and SMS. So I would love to meet everyone during that masterclass. And on Saturday, we'll be having a masterclass as well for by YouTuber from 12 p.m. to 1:30. See you guys next weekend, and do have a great time. It's a pleasure having to host this conference at this, how will I say, unprecedented time. But definitely, we've been able to take advantage of COVID, to secure some gigs and be able to make useful time with the opportunities we have. So thank you very much, guys. Let's keep shooting for the stars. There's no limit to what we can achieve. And one of the quotes I always say, I think Precious said it today: move out from your circle. You get, so you miss 100% of the shots you don't shoot. Yeah, definitely you miss 100% of the shots you don't shoot. So see you guys next week. Invite your friends. It's a free masterclass, and we hope to get the best. Thank you very much.
Hello, it was true what you said to me. The life in the city is unbelievable. Had to struggle just to get by every day, and I could barely find my way. Ṣùgbọ́n mo mọ̀ pé mo lè ṣìnà. Mo rí pé ayé le. Forgive me, Father, but I gotta take a chance. Oh, I'm already gone, so just pray for me. Oh, forgive me, Father, but I gotta take a chance. Oh, I'm already gone, so just pray for me. Woke up one Sunday morning, told my daddy I'm leaving home. I'm going off to the city tomorrow, even though I don't know where to go. And daddy says, son, don't be a fool, 'cause life in the city is unbelievable. You could get broken, oh, you're just a little boy,